a public hearing on several properties. It's all basically on Atlantic. The main address is 1911 to 1923 Atlantic Avenue. That's between Prescott Place and Bancroft Place. That'll be first public hearing. That's going to be introduced by Dennis George, as well as a disposition, which is a bunch of block and lots. I don't remember what street. Okay, I'm sorry. It's also the same streets, Atlantic Avenue between Prescott and Bancroft. That's going to be followed by 3 public hearings from the Economic Development Committee. First will be for business at 990 Broadway. Second is, and these are all businesses seeking liquor licenses, so alcohol beverage control licenses. The second one is at 380 Marcus Garvey Boulevard, corner of Hancock Street. And the third is at 557 Clawson Avenue between Fulton Street and Lefferts Place. Following the public hearings, we have community announcements, followed by a roll call, committee updates and resolutions, and then there will be action on the public hearings. So we'll be taking a vote, followed by the chairperson's report, acceptance of the minutes, and adjournment. So we're going to move on to acknowledgement of elected officials and community partners. And if you could please try to keep your remarks to 2 minutes. Okay, and it'll be in this order. So representing Mayor de Blasio is Jamila Fines. Representing Borough President Eric Adams, Candace Julian. Representing Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez, Shelton Jones. Representing Council Member Robert Carnegie, Joseph Grant. And is Council Member Crumble here? Yes. All right. So actually, we'll call Council Member. You want to go first, Council Member Crumble? Okay, so sure. We're going to hear from Council Member Crumble first.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I know that it has been a little minute since you've seen me, so I want to thank you all so much for your patience. My staff has been filling me in on everything that has been happening. It has been an adjusted year, being, as I say, a new mom as well as the majority leader of the New York City Council. So both things happening at the same time has been quite a challenge. I didn't really know, but now I have to be out of the house by 7 a.m. And by then I had to have gotten dressed, got him dressed, changed his diaper, changed his clothes, made breakfast, did the dishes, get myself dressed, try to look fly, put my stuff together, put a snowsuit on, get the stroller out, get the car seat ready, get the bottles ready for when he comes home, pack the bag. I mean, woo! Families and parents that are doing all of that, God bless you all. I just saw the little pictures and thought how cute it would be to have a baby, but Lord, ooh. But we are doing extraordinary things, and as the majority leader of the City Council, I'm really very proud of so much of the progress we've been able to make. We saw history congressionally, as I also said, we saw herstory congressionally, but here in New York State, we have also made herstory. We now have in the New York State Senate, Crystal Peoples-Stokes is now the majority leader of the New York State Assembly. And on the Senate leader, we have our very, very prestigious, who we fought very hard to have her become the chair of the New York State Senate, we have Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who is doing phenomenal work as well. So we are doing phenomenal things as women within the body. Just wanted to let you know we are going to be having financial workshops because now is budget time. So if you have a not-for-profit organization, please make sure that you look on the New York City Council website. It is now time to apply for funding. And you may say, like, what does all this majority leadership mean? It means that as a majority leader, working with Speaker Corey Johnson and Councilmember Robert Cornegy, we were able to secure in last year's budget $7.2 million for Restoration Plaza. And we're going to continue to have those resources coming into our district because this is a 4-phase project. Each year, we're going to have to pull in that type of money in order to do a complete renovation and reimagining of this campus so that we can utilize it fully. We're also very proud to have here the Noel Pointer Foundation. I was very proud to be able to work with my colleagues to secure $150,000 in CASA funding to make sure that they are able to expand their work to all 5 boroughs throughout the city of New York. Also with this, I wanted to let you know, and we're going to send the community board more information with exact timing on it, but the very horrific situation that you saw with Jasmine Headley, what we saw in the HRA office in terms of a child being torn out of her mother's arms, I call it a total just brutality in many ways. And we're going to have a hearing on that in the City Council on January 28th. The time is still being confirmed, but I certainly want us to show up en masse because we have to send a strong message that we care about Black women in our community and that we are there to protect them and to protect children. So I thank you all so very much for being here. Just want to remind you again, please make sure you apply for a grant if you are a not-for-profit organization. And we made history once again with Public Advocate Letitia James, who is now our New York State Attorney General. And her Brooklyn inauguration service will be tomorrow at Emmanuel Baptist Church. It will be tomorrow at Emmanuel Baptist Church from 7 to 9 p.m. I will be emceeing. Okay. So please make sure that you come through, come support our New York State Attorney General, Letitia James. This is certainly history in New York State, and we have to have a strong showing to let people know that we care, support, and are proud of this dynamic woman who worked so hard to get into this position. Thank you all so very much, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is a relay with the operation. Mr. State Senator, Happy New Year, everyone. And
You see how she don't have to wait till you call out, right?
I have to follow my duties appropriately. I just want to make an announcement in addition to the fact that we're celebrating the Honorable Letitia James tomorrow. I hope everyone is there. This is her family celebration. But I also want to just report a couple of things that we have been doing that we've all, I think everybody in this room, has been part of. One is that we were in attendance at a meeting that was held called by our city council member to talk about the problems with people losing their properties in many different ways. Foreclosure, HDFCs that are being seized by the city inappropriately, and so forth. So we met with the borough president, and he is going to be heading up a hearing, at least for those of us in Brooklyn. And he would like for us to be listening to people who have been actually victims of this process, that they've been victimized by theft of their deeds, by foreclosures, by HDFCs that were inappropriately taken away from people, and so forth. So that hearing is being planned, and I have my staff here. Where's Shaki? Shaki is here. Shaki is working with the borough president's staff to plan for that hearing sometime late February. So we'll be notifying everyone on that. We have also had at one meeting, it's a pre-budget meeting on housing, affordable housing in our state. As you know, tomorrow, Wednesday, I will be sworn in as the chair of the Committee on Children and Families in the New York State Senate. I've been trying to prepare for that so that, you know, these things sometimes go very quickly. So I don't want to lose any time advocating for what we need in our district and throughout the state as it relates to particularly housing. Certainly that's one of the big issues for us. So we've held a meeting with about 30 of the housing advocates organizations, including, I'm looking at Judge Staten here, was there. She's been doing a lot of work on foreclosure. There's a lot of needs that we have to be paying attention to. We had the chair of the Senate Committee on Housing at that meeting. So I was able to introduce him to some of the key people at the meeting and organizations. So when he gets started, he knows who we are. In addition, coming up on the 17th of this month, we're doing another meeting with those organizations that have anything to do with children, youth, and families. So that's another one of those opportunities where we'll be listening to hear what the needs are, what's happening as it relates to the needs of children and families in our area. So just so that you know, we have started already. The work has already begun last year, so that as of Wednesday, when we're sworn in and official, when we reach out, we will already be prepared to advocate for those resources that we will need for people who have not felt the power of a chairship for a long time. So we intend to bring that to Brooklyn. So between us, my sister and I, we are on it. And we thank you for your support. Thank you,
Thank you very much. So, again, we have is Jamila Fines.
Could y'all get all yes, come around to the front? Candace, all the way up.
Yeah.
Around this way. Jamila?
Okay, the meeting is being live streamed. So again, in this order, Jamila Fines from Mayor de Blasio's office, Candace Julian from Borough President Adams' office, Shelton Jones from DA Gonzalez's office, Joseph Grant from Councilmember Cornegy's office, and then Nicholas Perry from the Controller's office, in that order. And also at this time, I'd like to acknowledge Deputy Inspector Charles Finch from the 79th Precinct, Deputy Inspector, and Police Officer Charles from the 79th Precinct.
Good evening, my name is Jamila Fines from the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs. I just have one quick announcement. So the mayor is super excited about the rollout of the Fair Fares initiative that will enable low-income New Yorkers to be able to pay half fare for New York City subways and buses. So if you want more information on that, you can feel free to reach out to me at jfines, JFYNES at cityhall.nyc.gov. That's it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bedside. It's been a while since I've been here, so let me formally introduce myself. My name is Candace Julian, Deputy Program Officer and Youth Liaison at Borough Hall. And on behalf of Borough President Ariel Adams, I'd like to wish you all a happy and healthy new year and hope you all enjoy the holiday season. If you haven't picked up the Borough President's Message of the Month on your way in, my colleague Denise Brown is happy to pass them out. So you are aware of all the capital and policy initiatives taking place at Borough Hall and the upcoming events. A few quick notes. Community board applications are open on our website, BklynUSA.org, and are being accepted until Friday, February 15th. Community board members whose term expires this March have to reapply to serve. And if you are unsure when your term expires, please feel free to reach out to me or, of course, the district manager or chair. And while everyone knows and loves the community board, I hope you will join me at Borough Hall on January 29th for a neighborhood advisory board info session in partnership with the Department for Youth and Community Development. And on Wednesday, January 23rd, there will be a public hearing on the affordable housing development that everyone's gonna vote on tonight. So I hope you guys come out to the events and hearings at Borough Hall. Thank you all.
Thank you, Candace. Charles Jones? And he's gonna be followed by Joseph Grant.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year from myself and from my boss, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez. Just two very brief announcements. At the end of last year, late December, the DA gave 1,422 people an early gift. He had their misdemeanor warrants erased and removed for low-level marijuana convictions. We also overturned and sealed 28 low-level marijuana convictions for individuals, so these folks can move on with their life. This is all part, thank you. This is all part of our Justice 2020 initiative that the DA is gonna come out to one of these meetings to talk to y'all about very shortly, but that's just the first part. In addition, on Tuesday, February 15th, we are having a human trafficking event over at Brooklyn Borough Hall downtown. It will be from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have a bunch of different speakers. I want to thank Henry for putting it in your booklet. So the flyer is in your booklet for you to see. Please, if you're interested, please make sure you RSVP so we can get a count. There will be some light refreshments as well. Again, my name is Shelton Jones from the Kings County District Attorney's Office. I can be reached at 718-250-3146. Again, that's 718-250-3146. And you can also follow the DA on Twitter. He loves to tweet. So it's at BklynDA. And you can also follow us on our website, www.BklynDA.org. Again, www.BklynDA.org. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful evening. God bless.
Thank you, Sean.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joseph C. Grant Jr., and I am here bringing greetings for Councilman Robert Cornyn. It's going to be really, really brief. We have a really great year planned with things that we want to do. But most importantly, we need to find out what's going on with you so that we can figure out how to help you guys. So please reach out to the office. The number is 718-919-0740, and bring your complaints, bring your concerns, because that's the only way we can help you guys do better. Once again, my name is Joseph C. Grant Jr., and I'm bringing greeting. I don't want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's or Power Party, because everybody said that, but I said it already, right? So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Party. And again, please, Joseph C. Grant Jr., Robert Cornyn. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Nick Perry from the Controller, Scott Springer's office. While he's coming up, I just wanted to acknowledge Detective Narcisse. Detective Narcisse, you here from 81st Precinct. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicholas Perry. I'm a representative for our New York City Controller, Scott Springer. I just want to inform everyone that the 2019 Summer Internship Program, the application period just opened today, and it's open until March 8th. The qualifications to intern is that the applicants must be enrolled in an accredited undergraduate or graduate degree program for the fall 2019 semester. I did this internship when I was younger. It was quite fruitful for me, and I would encourage anybody that knows anyone in college to try out this internship program. I left the flyers out on the table, and if anybody would like to contact me, the Controller's Office, you can reach me directly at 212-669-3811. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Let's see, we have, in this order, if you please be ready to come to the front. Representing Assemblyman Walter Mosley, Lucian Allen. Representing Assemblywoman Tremaine Wright, Maceo Kareem. From the New York Public Library, Lamine Isaac. From the 79th Precinct Council, Dr. Kim Best.
Good evening. So again, my name is Lucian Allen. I'm the community liaison for Assemblyman Walter Mosley. He's in New Albany right now, so he definitely wishes you a happy new year. But also, he's working on new legislation, so I'll definitely keep you all abreast of anything that develops with that. Quickly, the Assemblyman is hosting his 6th annual Youth Job Fair and Career Expo. It's going to be January 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 55 Hanson Place in Shirley Chisholm Building. Up on the 9th floor. So it's going to be for ages 14 to 24. So we ask that any youth that you might have or that you know within your families or extended families, please let them know about this. And just please make sure that they have IDs to enter the building. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Maceo, okay, thanks.
Thank you. Happy New Year, family. How you doing?
Happy New Year.
So I'm from the Assemblywoman Tremaine Wright's office, and we're having the STAR program workshop again. So if you're 65 or older and you want to save some
Property tax.
yes, a tax exemption on your property, please reach out to my office. The number is 718-399-7630. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, which tax exemption is it?
The STAR program for housing.
Start. Okay, great. A lot of people miss out on that. For the 79th Precinct Council, I said Dr. Kim Best is actually going to be Idris Abdullah, followed by the President of the 81st Precinct Council, Daniel Fisher.
Good evening. This is a reminder for the monthly meeting of the 79th Precinct Community Council. These meetings is very important, extremely important, because when there's issues that need to be discussed pertaining to police-community relations, on how we can better that relationship, this is the meeting where we need to bring these particular issues out. So again, as a reminder, January 23rd, Wednesday, 585 DeKalb Avenue, corner of Nostrand and DeKalb. It starts at 7 o'clock. If you bring your neighbor, your friends, your family, so we can start this new year out right with the issues that need to be addressed. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Idris. Dan Fisher to be followed by Lamine Isaac from the Public Library. While Dan's coming up, I just wanted to acknowledge Regional Director for the YMCA, Doherty Jordan. Doherty, I saw you walk in, Doherty Jordan from Y.
Thank you, Richard. How y'all doing tonight? All right, that's good. I can wake up the crowd a little bit. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone started the new year in a good way. We're all here, so that's the best way to start it off, right? Well, welcome. I'm Daniel G. Fisher, the president of the 81st Precinct Community Council. It's so nice to see so many folks out tonight to start the new year off. I just want to say the Precinct Council 81 had a wonderful, very successful December. We had our Christmas concert in Bedford, which was well attended. We raised a lot of money for the things we want to do in the community. We had our children's Christmas party, gave away a ton of toys, and then we also did on the same day with Chief Landry of the Brooklyn Borough North, and had a tremendous time giving out a lot of toys and gifts to a lot of the kids in the community. So I say that to say, put it on your calendar next year, December, that you want to be there with us, because we do it right, we do it wrong, we have a good time. 81st Precinct Community Council is in the community, for the community. And before I continue, let me acknowledge my detectives in the back, Detective Narcisse and Detective Facey and Community Affairs. Whenever you need to get some information, they not only work hard doing the events in the community, but they protect the community in a great way. And as my good friend Idris said, these meetings that we have in the precinct councils to help strengthen the relationship between the community and the police. So we need your attendance. Our meetings are the second Tuesday of the month, which will be tomorrow at 1958 Fulton Street, and it's at 7 p.m. I know it's the same time as our State Attorney General, Police James function at the manual, so I do understand if I don't see a lot of you, but whoever doesn't go to that tomorrow, I want to see at our meeting, okay? I had the pleasure of attending the inauguration yesterday at John Jay College. It was a wonderful event, so if you can go support her, go support her. I'll just also mention that we have a great year coming up with a lot of events. I just want to highlight two of them. We're doing another play this year. We partnered with the Bert K. Fulton Foundation to do a play on Saturday, April 13th. And what we're doing is we're doing two showings at 1958 Oak Street. So we have a matinee show at 2 p.m. and then an evening show at 6 p.m. So you can bring the young people out at 2 and then come back with your significant other and have a nice sexy evening at a play right here in the neighborhood and then go home and have some more sex. Okay, we're also, well, you're paying attention, right? And then we're also going to do our pre-Mother's Day breakfast on Saturday, May 5th. So we'll have a few things in between now and then. You'll see me, you'll come to the meetings, you'll get a lot of information, and we'll help each other, protect each other, and make our community better and stronger, because that's what we're here, and that's what it's all about. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Okay, and God bless Bedford South.
Thank you. Dean Isaac?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. That's a tough act to follow. Happy New Year to you all. I just came with two quick announcements this evening. The first one is that the Macon Library will be hosting free OSHA classes, OSHA 30, and they start the first week in February and last for 5 weeks. They're going to be on Saturdays from 10:30 to 5 p.m. Registration is required. The classes will be conducted by a trainer from Kingsborough Community College. So again, Macon branch is offering free OSHA classes. If you know anyone who needs it, because they're going to be required, OSHA 30 is going to be required on all construction sites as of June the 1st of this year. So we're trying to get ahead of the curve and just make sure that people receive that OSHA training at the library. The other thing is tomorrow evening from 5 to 7, the library is hosting an information session for pre-K enrollment. So if you're a grandparent or you're a parent of a young child who was born in 2015, tomorrow evening is an important night for you to come out to find out about the pre-K registration process. Again, that's going to be at the library. Thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge Karen Cherry. She just walked in, I think, from Assembly Member Delonto.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year on behalf of the Assembly. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have two more speakers from the movement for Black Youth Abroad, Kylie Motley, and then the last speaker from the U.S. Department of Commerce to talk about the census, James Toole.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Kylie Motley. I am the founder of Movement Black Youth Abroad. We are a nonprofit that's dedicated to taking youth of African descent who have never left the country on educational and cultural trips abroad. So I'm here tonight to have great news. Our first trip is going to be to Colombia, and I want to make sure all the kids in Bedford, Stuyvesant apply. There's no cost for our trips. The only requirement is that you complete an 8-week social justice oriented prep course where you learn about the history, the politics, and the culture of the country before you go. So applications are going to open up on February 1st. You may have grabbed one of these sheets out front. If you did not grab one of these sheets, you can find us online at movementbya.org. Again, that's movementbya.org. We're also on social media. Everything is on Facebook, Movement BYA, on Instagram, Movement BYA, you guessed it, on Twitter, Movement BYA. If you have questions about the program or would like more information, just grab me and pull me into the hallway, or you can email us at info@movementbya.org. Thank you.
What's the age cohort?
For the trip to Columbia over the summer, it will be 16 to 18.
Okay,
Thank you, Tyson.
thank you. And, last, from the U.S. Department of Commerce, are you getting paid now?
Yes,
That's a good thing. Because of the partial government shutdown.
yes, I'm not on furlough, so that's a good thing. We are hiring. We have a responsibility to hire between now and the end of the year, 352,000 people nationwide to work for the census. The jobs start at $25 an hour for numerous and they go up. We have 4 offices that we're gonna be opening up in Brooklyn alone. We've opened one on Myrtle and Broadway. So that office will be opening, actually, it's ready to open now. But we have to hire all the staff at each of those offices, which is a slew of people, hundreds of people. We're asking that we put the flyers on the table. If you know anyone that's looking for a job, that needs a job, please apply for those jobs. I'm only doing Brooklyn right now. I'm out in Brooklyn only. So I'm asking that you take that seriously. Those jobs are available. Yes, we are gonna be hiring now. So even though we're on furlough, that money is still in the budget from 2010. When we closed out, we still have the money that's there for 2020. So please, if you see that opportunity, give it to someone, give a flyer to them, make sure that they apply for the job immediately. It's online, everything is done online. I hope that I can come back at a later date and talk more seriously about what the purpose and how we're gonna do the census this year. One unique thing we're doing it by computer. But I tell people, if someone knocks at your door, they're knocking at your door because you didn't fill your census form out. We don't want them to knock on your door, particularly a senior that may be, home alone and it's 8 o'clock at night and someone is knocking on their door. That's not a comfortable thing to do. So I'm asking that when you get those census forms, please fill them out. But more importantly, we're going to be doing it by computer this time and also by phone. So those are unique situations. This is the way we're changing it. But the jobs are paying very well. If you're looking for a part-time gig, please take advantage of it. If you're looking for full-time, we also have that. Thank you so much.
The hiring is effective when?
Now. Contact information. Now. The hiring is hot. We're hiring right now. We are hiring right now. So please, if you know someone is looking for a job, please go online, do it, and submit it. Once you're in the system, no matter what, we're gonna call you back over and over again until you're ready to work.
Okay, I'm sorry, could you give the website?
Yes, please.
Yes, the website is 2020census.gov/jobs. 2020census.gov/jobs. Thank you.
Okay, there's one last speaker, that's Stephanie Zinnerman, from VITA.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to the hardest working board in Brooklyn. Yay. Happy New Year to the most civically engaged neighborhood in all of BK. Good to see you all out tonight. As you can see, I'm a little excited this evening. And I'm excited because we have over 700 people who have already RSVP'd for our public advocate debate, which is gonna be on Thursday, January 31st at Boys and Girls High School, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6. If you have already RSVP'd for your ticket, please make sure that it's either on your phone or you download a paper copy to get in. Because we anticipate, we've been getting about 50 RSVPs a day that we're gonna sell out pretty soon. So we wanna make sure that everybody in this room has a hand in picking our next public advocate. There's a movement to eliminate the position. There are currently 24 people who are vying for it. They are now trying to collect petitions. Some of you probably been already asked, but participate in this process. And if you want to find out more about what the public advocate does, I suggest that you go online. Right now, the city is in the process of changing our charter. That is the Constitution of New York City. So there's a website, I got census on the brain. Charter Revision 2019. Please go on, read the proposals that people are making to change how the city runs. Everybody in this room needs to have their voices heard. We've already submitted some of our ideas, but we want you to do so as well. And the public advocate position is a big part of what is being revised. So please, please, please come on out on January 31st, but remember, go online, Eventbrite, public advocate, be the public advocate debate, and come out on the 31st and choose the next public advocate. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. We're gonna move on to the next part of our agenda report from the district manager, Mr. Henry Ball.
Good evening, good evening. Try to make this quick. Real quick on what Stephanie said, the event is free. I know she said about a ticket, but it's free to attend the public advocate debate. It's free. The ticket is just to get you in. Real quick, at the monthly borough service cabinet meeting, that's the meeting at Borough Hall with district managers along with the borough president. There was a presentation by Con Edison. They are installing the new smart meters, which read every 15 minutes. The installation started in April 2018. It should be completed by 2021. It takes less than 30 minutes to install. They should arrive in CB3 Bedford around the summertime. They started in South Brooklyn. You will get a notice 90 days and 45 days in advance. Remember, the installation is free, so be aware of scammers. The installation is free, so please be aware of any scammers. We also had a presentation about National Grid. For those who are homeowners, if your tenant leaves and leaves with an outstanding National Grid bill, that will be on the homeowner. I know. National Grid will turn off the gas at that apartment unit if there is an outstanding balance. Meetings that were attended, I had a meeting with the community outreach representative from the Carpenters Union, and I mentioned that because for all the construction that's taking place in our district, one of the first questions is jobs for the community. What we are trying to do, myself along with the Economic Development Committee, also with Assembly Member Tremaine Wright's office and Councilman Carnegie's office, is sometime in the springtime to produce what they call a trade union learning day. That's basically all of the construction unions will come out, give information about how to become a part of the apprenticeship programs within the unions. There are several programs geared toward minority and women. One of them is called Building Works. You also have construction skills and NYC helmets, the hard hats. So just be on the lookout for that. We're looking to do that sometime in the springtime. Remember, in order to work on a project, you need to be certified and licensed in order to get a contract. You have to get, as a minority women business contract, you have to be certified MWBE. So we're looking to bring all of that information to the community of Bedford Stuyvesant, working along with the construction unions. Also, I attended a meeting with the Brooklyn Young Democrats to discuss community boards, how to become a part of the community boards. Mr. Flatow mentioned about the meeting we had with Councilman Lika Samuels pertaining to the land that's on foot between Ralph and Saratoga Avenue. I've been on this board 12 years, and before I even got it, we've been trying to get this land developed. Hopefully, with the new councilman, we're going to get this moving forward. I see HPD here. I'm not going to mention her name, but I know she's going to help us out with that. HPD is in the house today, and we'll be having those conversations with them. Mr. Flatow did mention about the meeting we had with DOT. One of the stops we made was, does everybody know the hardware stores? We're called Marcus Garvey and Macon, Ms. Hayes, who've been there over 40 years, been living in Bedside 70 years. Yes, and 70 years, and she's 90 years old and still going strong. Well, basically the issue was that they put the city bikes in front of her store, and initially she said, okay, I guess remove a couple of them if I can have space for my cars for deliveries. But according to her, that's not working out. It's having a problem with deliveries, so we had to go down and whip out DOT rep. And basically the solution we came up with, it was myself and Flatow, our DOT rep. The solution we came up with, we were gonna put a loading and unloading zone in front of her store, so she can have her deliveries, so they don't have to be parked, delivering a block away from her, and them trying to pull the deliveries over. And she out there 90 years old trying to help them with the deliveries, so she will try that, Ms. Hayes. So yes, so I'm bringing this up to you because in order for us to resolve issues, we need to hear from you. So, Ms. Hayes reached out, she called us, we went over and spoke to her, but it got resolved because she reached out to us. Bedford is a very large community, and we need the assistance of the residents of the block and tenant associations to let us know what's going on. Once we hear from you, then it's our responsibility, the office responsibility, to then help get it resolved for you. So I just wanted to use that as an example of an issue that was a problem that was for a resident, and we helped get it resolved through the office. The last thing I want to mention, Mr. Plateau did mention about the flooding, the ponding that takes place on the corner of Raycon and True. That's been happening for years. We came up with a solution, but the problem is it's a capital project now. In order to get capital dollars, we're talking about millions. We're hoping to come up with a plan that will be where they won't have to wait a few years to get it done. This has been happening for years. To the homeowner that lives on that block, in that household, on that corner. So once again, though, it was a situation that they reached out to the office, we went out, we brought DOT out to DEP, Parks Department, everyone out to that location. So I say to everyone, if there's an issue, please, 311, then call the community board, and we will be out there. If you have a block or tenant association, you want the community board to come through, shoot an email over to the office, and I will attend your block or tenant association meeting to find out the issues that are going on, in your surrounding area and on your block. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up now. We are behind schedule. Thank you so much.
I got a quick question. On the Con Ed meters, how do we get the new meters?
No, everyone's getting the new meters.
Oh, everyone's, okay.
Everyone's getting the new meters. They just haven't gotten to us yet.
All right, thank you, Mr. Butler. We're gonna move on to the informational presentations, and we have two tonight. So first is gonna be introduced by Dr. Kim Beck, and this is coming from the Senior Citizens Committee.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, we're going to have a presentation from the Jewish Community Council. Are they here?
Yes, here.
They're here, okay. And the presentation will be given by Julie and Laura, LMSW, Director of Mobility, Management, Senior Citizen, Transportation Program. And they're going to talk about some of the services that they offer for transportation for senior programs. Let's give her a hand as she comes up.
Thank you very much. My name is Julie Lauer, and I work at the Jewish Community Council of Greater Coney Island in their Senior Citizen Transportation Program. I'm so excited to be here because I really need everybody's help. I want to make sure that everyone who is 60 or older and lives in Brooklyn knows about our free transportation services, and yes, free. We offer several different types of transportation. I'll be very brief, but I'm available. We have a website. You can certainly contact us in the days to come. We have different types of programs. First, we have individual trips. So for seniors who need to get to necessary appointments, they need to get to senior centers for meals. Some people don't actually have food at home. They need to get to banking, shopping, whatever. We do subcontract with car services. We pick them up at their homes, take them where they need to go, bring them back. It's a basic application. I'm not going to get into the details of that now. Very simple, basic demographic information that our funders require, and just so that we know where to go to pick everyone up. In addition to the individual trips, we also have group trips. This is for any group. It doesn't have to be a senior center. We have some housing, apartment buildings where just groups get together on their own and they want to go to a mall, they want to go to a show, they want to go to a band, they want to go to a movie. There's so many options. So we do subcontract with school buses for the large group trips, 40, 44 people per bus. We go out of borough to trips, we go in borough, and that's really something that I know a lot of our seniors do appreciate, to be able to get out and socialize and have some cultural activities with their friends. In addition, we do own a fleet of vehicles. These are all wheelchair accessible. We have 16 passenger, 18 passenger, and 28 passenger vehicles. So these vehicles have set routes every day, picking up people in their homes, taking them to the senior centers, and returning. However, in addition, we have the ability to use these vehicles for special trips, for people who maybe don't have the mobility to get up and down school buses. So they can come on our vehicles, they can ride on the wheelchair lift, and go to the same social, cultural, and just fun activities. We actually took a group this past summer to Coney Island to an amusement park, and they went on rides and they had a blast. So we take people all over. So I really think it's important because I don't know, there are no other programs like this in Brooklyn. There are no other programs, free services like this in the 5 boroughs. So we really are proud of it. We are very hard to maintain it and to get the word out, which is why I'm here. The last part of our program is that we also provide educational workshops to senior programs or senior groups that get together and will have us. I went to a senior housing project a few weeks ago to talk about options for transportation and what we do. But in addition, we have a fantastic workshop. Lately, we've been doing winter safety, very important, teaching them about how to get ice picks to put on the edges of your canes so that when you walk in, you won't, you can be a little more secure if there's ice. Or these little skis that go on the bottoms of walkers so that you can slide through the slush. And other things, heating mats for outside your porch if you're a homeowner, and a lot of things I never heard of. I have wonderful student interns who have helped do the research and present these programs. We do emergency preparedness. Stress management is very popular these days, and we really want to get out to everyone in Brooklyn. As I said, the only requirement is that you have to be 60 or older and reside in Brooklyn. The trips don't necessarily have to be in Brooklyn, although primarily that's where people are going. But if there is a specialist out of the borough that you need to go to, you have to know where the transportation, we want to help you get there. We don't want anybody to be stuck at home or to have to lose their independence and be put into, some kind of residential facility just because they can't get in and out of their home. And I do want to explain, people generally don't believe me when I say it's free. We are funded, several funders. We're very appreciative for the New York City Council and the members for supporting us year after year. We also, our primary funders are the New York City, New York State Department of Transportation, as well as the Department for the Aging. But plenty of other private foundations also know how important we are and help us out. Lastly, because anybody who's used our service knows, of course, we accept voluntary contributions and appreciate it. All they do is add to our ability to provide more transportation to more people. I will leave some pamphlets and my cards outside because I know that we are running late. I don't want to take any more time. But again, thank you so much for having me here, and please pass the word. Okay, my personal contact, I'm going to give my email because I'm out of the office a lot. So phone is probably not the best bet. It's j.lauer, Lauer, at jccgci.org. And also, if you go online and just Google jccgci.org, you will see we are a huge umbrella organization that provides a lot of other services for seniors and for other populations. Some programs are 5 boroughs, some programs are just within Brooklyn. So please reach out, go on the website, and help us spread the word because we really want to help as many people as possible. Thank you so much.
So if anyone has any questions for her, you can catch her before she leaves. Okay?
All right, thank you very much. The next presentation will come from the Civic and Public Safety Committee. And the committee chair, Stacey Ruffin, will make that introduction.
Good evening, everyone. The next presentation will be by Man Up Incorporated USA on their crisis management system in the 81st precinct area. The presentation will be given by Brother Romel Schuler, Assistant Director of the Crisis Management System. Rainey Smith with the advanced team. You guys come on up. We have Sister Antoinette Kennedy, who is the outreach worker, and Angela Smith, who is the supervisor. So you have to stand on up. And let me tell you something, guys. I am the timekeeper. You're all my friends. But you got 5 to 7 minutes. Go.
Hotel everybody, it's committee greeting.
I can say Abarigani, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings to everybody here. My name is Ronald Schuler. I'm the Assistant Director for Man Up USA. We're a part of the crisis management system. It's 22 sites in the 5 boroughs. We go to the areas that are most affected by gun violence. We are trained in conflict resolution and mediation. So we're also in schools. We do mentorship in schools. Man Up has been in existence for 15 years. We just celebrated our 15th anniversary in November. There was a senseless killing 15 years ago. 8-year-old Deshaun Hill, we actually had the street renamed for him. And that's where Man Up came into fruition. The crisis management system, as we know it, takes a public health approach, unlike a public safety approach. So NYPD is a public safety approach to violence and to different conflicts. We take a public health approach. All right, so a public health approach basically is data driven. So we have the numbers, the statistics. Most of the areas that we go to have to have 22% higher shootings than the national average. So we go into the fight. Those areas, we go in, we talk to individuals. My team here, we are called Credible Messengers. We're from those communities. When we come into the 81st precinct, we will be hiring individuals from the community to be a part of this Man Up team. And Brother Rennie here is a part of our advanced team. And the advanced team, we went into the area next to Roosevelt houses. So that'll be our catchment area this year. We'll be in from Marcus Garvey. Our catchment area will be from Marcus Garvey to Broadway, Kent to Kosciuszko.
Kosciuszko to Hart.
Kosciuszko to Hart. I want Ken is in my name. Kosciuszko to Hart. So that's the area that we'll be responsible for. And the brother gathered information from this area, because this is definitely a hot spot. And once we figured out that there was no community center in that area, so there's nothing for those young people to do. And usually the target areas are from the ages of 16 to 24, right? And a lot of that in that age, and I know there's probably a lot of parents in here, we know what stage that is. That's that adolescent stage, that us versus them. So all of us here as parents, you know, I'm a grandparent, so I'm a them. And most of us here are them. I don't see any young people in here. So come on. I'm not seeing 1 and 2 young people in here. And I'm glad that you're here, right? Right here. Okay, my bad. All right. So we utilize community partners to provide what we call wraparound services, because we know when we look at epidemiology, I see a doctor over there, right? Dr. Bess, right? So we take a scientific approach. So when we talk about epidemiology, we talk about that patient zero. So when we talk about violence, that one person, that one conflict, it doesn't just end with those 1 or 2 people, right? It affects their families, and it trickles out. It affects their friends, and so on. So we want to be able to provide services not only for those individuals, but we want to provide services for the community. So we have hospital responders, violence interrupters, and outreach workers working in tandem to provide long, short-term goals for them. We help find them jobs. We do a lot of different services for individuals that we say high risk. I don't like to say high risk because we all at risk, right? So I say promise you. I don't say high risk you. I say promise you, because they still have potential, right? So I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. My brother wants to say a couple of words. I'll pass it to my brother, Rennie Smith.
Yeah, my name is Rennie. I will be the one that's going in the 81st precinct. I'm an OW supervisor. I'm part of the advanced team. I already did some work in the 81st precinct. As my colleague stated, we noticed that there was no community center in there. We take violence from a public health approach because we look at violence as a disease. It spreads from one person to the next. And our job is to interrupt the transmission so it doesn't spread. So we'll be out there in the ground and we'll be stopping it. And hopefully we'll make this area safer so that all of us can be safe and walk through it. And that's what our role is. We're gonna need the whole community support. And this is just not man up. We're gonna need all y'all support. So we'll be coming to these meetings once we get set up over here. And we'll be sharing with y'all what we're doing and asking for your input. Particularly when we do community mobilizations, we're gonna need y'all to come with us and walk through the streets and say violence is not acceptable and it's not normal. We want this message to be loud and to be clear so we can stop it. Thank y'all, the hotel.
Thank you very much, man up. We're gonna move on to public hearings, and we have several. So first public hearing is coming from the Housing and Land Use Committee. The introduction for this agenda item is going to be given by Dennis George, First Vice Chair for Housing and Land Use.
Good evening. In the matter of an application submitted by the Department of Housing and Preservation Development, pursuant to Article 16 of the General Municipal Law of New York State, the designation of properties located at 17 through 23 Prescott Place, 18 through 22 Hancock Place, and 1911 through 1923 Atlantic Avenue, Lot 7, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 28, 32 through 38 as an urban development action area. An urban development action area pursuant to section 197C of the New York State Charter for the disposition of properties located at lot 15, 57, lots 3, 4, 26, 28, 32 through 37, to a developer to be selected by HPD to facilitate a mixed-use development containing approximately 235 affordable housing units, commercial and community facility space in all of Brooklyn, Board District 3. We have Lynn Zeng from HPD, and the developers, Thomas Campbell of Thurlow Company and Luana Williams of the Bar Development Partners, who will speak about the proposed development and the building.
Okay, just one brief announcement, and then I just wanted to acknowledge Council Member Alika Ampry Samuel, who just walked in right in time for the hearing on her public items in her district.
Also, if anyone has the community announcement sign-in sheet, could you bring it up to the front? You might have mistakenly taken the community announcement sign-in sheet. Could you please bring it up to the front? Say, we welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Lynn Zeng. I'm from the New York City Department of Housing Preservation Development, and we're really happy to be here tonight to present to you 1921 Atlantic Avenue. I'm joined here by Luana Williams from DeBar Development, as well as Thomas Campbell from Thoroughbird Companies, and they're currently passing around to the board members the presentation that we have up. So this is a project that would result in 100% of affordable housing at 1921 Atlantic. And Dawana and Thomas are part of a development team that was selected in an MWBE RFP that the city had back in 2017. So this step is part of the newer process that we're asking the board to vote, on several actions that we're going to go through tonight. And here's a quick view of tonight's agenda. I'm gonna go over very quickly the land use actions as part of this application, and give you a little site context, of the site so you know what we're talking about, and then Thomas and Dewan are gonna go through the program that's being proposed on the site and the affordability.
It's on the board.
So here's some facts. This application was certified November 13, 2018, so the Euler clock is ticking, and so CD3 is obviously the first stop in our Euler process. The actions that are involved, because this involves mostly city-owned land, we're coming to you for, the approval to dispose of the city-owned land. This site also needs rezoning so that we could optimize city land for more affordable housing. And also because it's getting enough zoning, MIH, mandatory inclusionary housing, would also be mapped on the site. So a fair amount, percentage of the units will be permanently affordable here. And also lastly, this site is part of the Saratoga Urban Renewal Plan. But it's designated only for industrial uses. So as you know, manufacturing is not the same anymore in that particular area right now. The site's just vacant. So we need to amend the plan to allow for the mixed-use residential project that we're proposing. So here is a view of the development site. The red dotted lines that surrounds the yellow tax lots. Those make up the city-owned sites, and it's roughly about 85% of the development site. The purple lots, 3 of them on the outskirts, are privately owned site that the development team has since designation have acquired. So to round out the development site, so it results in a better building with better site plan, better configured apartments. As you can see, without it, it would have been kind of a junky, weird configuration.
Not really.
Less efficient. And many of you might already know where the site is. It's on Atlantic, between Prescott and Dancock Place. And it's right up against the Long Island Railroad, where it's slightly elevated, where it actually starts to go up. So even though the current site is vacant right now, and it is industrial in feel, because it hasn't been developed so many years, it has many amazing qualities around it for residential projects, including its access to transit. The AC subway is over there on the upper left, so it's about a block away. And then you have Fulton Street, that's just a couple of blocks north. So you have commercial opportunities around it, and of course, just north of the site is the, you have Bed-Stuy and Wheatsville and Ocean Hill also rounding out the other sides as well. So I'm gonna now turn this over to Thomas, who's gonna talk about the proposed project.
Thank you, Lynn. And thank you, good evening, happy New Year to everyone. Sharon Plateau and District Manager Butler, thank you guys for having us here. Dewan and I are very excited to be here with you and to present 1921 Atlantic. Let me know if I'm not talking loud enough. My voice seems to be on fire a little bit. In case you didn't catch that, this is an MWBE initiative. It's the first ever in the history of this nation where lands have been distributed to minority-owned developers. We're very excited to have been part of that. I'm honored. I want to thank HPD for creating that program, and we're honored to be recipients of this site. We worked very, very hard on it. We've been working on this. Dewan and I have been in partnership for about 3 years, working on this project. I also want to hit this as an MWBE initiative within an MWBE initiative, because you have a minority-owned firm and another minority-owned firm that is a woman-owned firm that come together and pooled our resources. If you didn't catch it earlier, we went out and we acquired the other 3 sites that made this a much more efficient development opportunity to make the prominent corners on Atlantic Avenue look a little bit better than it would have looked without this blank wall that would have been facing Atlantic Avenue. So we were able to do that. We're proud to have done what even some non-minority firms don't do when they're given land. We showed we can step up and we can take it further so that this happens for people that come behind us. So we're excited about that. Beyond that, we are excited about the fact that our journey started here. You know, when this RFP was released, before we won, we came here to Community Board 3 first, before we developed any sort of concept. We met with the Housing Land Use Committee, we met with the Economic Development Committees, we had an idea in mind, and we left with something better that we learned from the Community Board that serves this community. We learned about the health outcomes in the community. We decided the medical facility. We came here and learned that is not what this community needs. This community needed more of a proactive way to counteract negative health outcomes. What was needed here is fresh food. That was told to us by the Community Board. And we took that to heart and made that the central element and theme of our project. We took that to heart. And in our project, we have, I'm going to talk about community space of the project first, and I'm going to talk residential. You see that we have, you see the word Oco Farms there? That is a local aquaponic and hydroponic farm operator founded here by an entrepreneur, African-American woman by the name of Musa Yeni. And it is going to be an aquaponic farm on the base of the building, which is going to create fresh food, farm to table concept, to create fresh food for the community. On the rooftop, there's going to be a hydroponic farm that's going to do the same. Our goal is to bring farm to table food to the community. So we did that again as a matter of fact, Oco Farms was introduced to us by the Community Board 3. So we learned about them from Community Board 3. We couple that with a fresh grocer on the ground floor, a 15,000 square foot grocery store that's going to be there. We are working to get the tenants that you want there. It's certainly a sales job on our part to get the right tenant there. We're still working on that diligently. We have LOI from some, but we don't quite have the folks you want yet. We're working on that, all right? We do know the names that the Community Board wants, and we're working to get those. In addition to food, we were told that this community is a community of entrepreneurs. We need support for our local entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. So that was part of the reason we brought Oco Farm, this entrepreneurial firm. In addition, we needed facilities that support our local community organizations. We learned that there are art galleries that are closing in the community because they can't afford the space in this booming economy. So we're going to have an art gallery that's going to be in the middle of the building. It's going to have about 1,100 square feet, which is a very large space for an art gallery. 3,300 square feet, larger than that, sorry. I'm just on the art gallery. And it's going to be there for local art organizations that need space to present and to further their businesses. In addition, Brooklyn Neighborhood Services is going to move their headquarters into our building as well. We're going to have a nonprofit called ACM, which is going to be in there to provide social services for tenants in the building. So we've taken the advice of the community to make sure that this project, as best we can, serve the community. That's on the community side. In terms of the residential program, moving on, this is the unit mix that we presented and where we were successful in winning the RFP. As you can see, it's weighted heavily towards the 60% AMI unit band. This is one where we won. That was our initial application. We've since done more work within the community and met with community stakeholders, met with HPD, met with local community stakeholders, met with City Councilwoman Illegal Acting Sanders here.
So you're right.
How you doing? Good to see you. Excellent. So we made some adjustments to our affordability with all those inputs. We learned from the city that the 60% AMI tier, our communities are flooded really with those particular units because there's so much subsidy for that particular band that's kind of all the community sees. So we went to a more equitable, more impactful unit mix. More equitable community mix going forward. Flip the, that's proposed, okay. So you see that we moved away from the 60% AMI units, centered toward the middle, and provide an income band that you don't see very much, but also reflective of this community. You have folks that make a little bit more than 60% AMI, but also the tenants or people in the community don't have as much access to the 30, 40, and 50% AMI units as well. So we provide more of those. AMI, pardon me, area median income.
Yeah, what is, just so community members know, what's the dollar amounts for AMI? Approximately.
Yes. Yeah, Lynn has it. top of mind. She hasn't, your question, no, so. No question.
So 2018 numbers, 30% AMI ranges for family of one, a single person to family four is about 21,930 a year for a single person, and a family four is about 31,290, so that's the 30% AMI. And then, so I could give you the higher range, 80% AMI, ranges from 58,480 for a single person, up to a family of four, under 8% AMI, it's about 83,440. So the rents for an 80% AMI studio is about 1,100. A two-bedroom is about 1,820, and on the lower end, the 30% studio about 367 for a single person. And then a two-bedroom for 30% AMI would be 575. So you could get an idea. There's
AMI means what?
area median income.
So sorry for that. Sorry to use those acronyms, my
So
apologies.
to recap, that's $363 to $1,800.
Yeah, to recap, the rents will be from $363 per month to $1,800 and something per month. That's the range, okay, that we have in this affordability. Better reflective of the needs of the community all around and all the inputs we've got from HPD, from city council, from the community. We met with the community board here, and so this is the one that we think is a winner here. And so we're excited about this in terms of affordability level. This is our building. The building is, you see that the tower has been respectful of the community, in that the tower is bordering Atlantic Avenue, which is a wide thoroughfare, one of the most important thoroughfares in all of New York City, certainly in Brooklyn. And it drops down significantly out of respect for the community, because it's a lower-rise community of homeowners. So it goes down so that it's not overbearing over the community to the back. The brick is intended to be in tune with neighborhood character, because there are other buildings in the area with that same color brick, but also to show that it's new and to have highlights and show that we thought about this, now we care. And in choice locations, you have nice glass and panels, like the prominent corner that is on Atlantic Avenue and Bancroft. You see that the corner has a nice glass feature there on the corner, but also shows that we understand what the community context is. You'll see along Bancroft, that's where some of our community services are gonna be. That's where Brooklyn Neighborhood Services is gonna be. That's gonna be the entrance to the archive on that side, and the other side of the building on Prescott. Prescott is just one block east of Ralph. That's where the entrance of where Oakville Farm is gonna be on that side. Now, that's over to my partner, Ron.
Thank you, Thomas. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dewana Williams of DeVar Development Partners. It's an honor to be here presenting to you tonight, wishing you all a happy and prosperous and healthy 2019. Can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you. As Thomas just mentioned regarding the rendering of the building, as you can see, there is really a site plan here that shows you the roof plan. And as he mentioned, the front of the building, the southern portion, as you see, stands 14 stories, which really communicates with the rest of Atlantic Avenue, where you have taller buildings along the thoroughfare. The building then, as you move back 100 feet where that line is in the middle, to the northern portion of the building drops, as you see, to 6 stories. Behind the building, there are other townhouses, as well as we're starting to more communicate with the rest of the community, where there are 4 and 5-story buildings. So to make it work and to contextualize it, the back of the building drops down. It goes from 14, then in the middle it goes to 9 stories, and then to the back it goes to 6 stories. As you will see from the center, there's an open space that allows for a garden, as well as open space that will probably be used in part by Oco Farms, as we discussed, that will be doing both educational workshops as well as growing hydroponics and aquaponics. Aquaponics are fish that grow that feed off of the hydroponics that are the greenery that grows. The ground floor plan is here, and there's an overview. As you can see, and as mentioned, in the pink portion, there is a grocery store. It'll be 15,000 square feet that will be located there. We have letters of intent from some major grocery stores, but we know from the community some of your desires about who you would prefer to be there. So we're pushing forward and hoping to get one of your desired kind of newer tenants in the community. That is not confirmed yet, but we are working on it. To the right of the building, where you see this person's cap, is the commercial entrance on Bancroft Place to the grocery store. It is separate from the other side where the residential entrance is located. But on the right side of Bancroft Place is the entrance to the grocery store. As you go further down, the first community facility, the green space, is the supported housing community service center where people will be able to go and to get community service as well as social services and social welfare programs for some of the tenants that will be there. Behind them is located the Brooklyn Neighborhood Housing Services. They'll be moving their headquarters to this location. And I want to just show you very quickly, because they're moving their headquarters here, they're going to open in this space a workshop that will train people for carpentry and electrical work for jobs in the neighborhood as well as in Brooklyn. We think this is a great thing because obviously people need to be trained for skilled jobs, and that's what they'll be doing in that space there. Moving over to the left
Just to
side.
pause for a second, Brooklyn Neighborhood Services used to be known as Neighborhood Housing Services.
Yes. Right.
NHS, they changed their name about 2 years ago.
Thank you, Chairman, that's correct. Yeah, exactly. They changed their name. So they've been in the community for over 4 decades. On the left side, the green entrance is where, on Prescott Place, is where Oco Farms will be located. The space in the back, the green part, is where they will hold the educational workshops, really educating people about how to grow foods and produce and healthy living. This is a part of the process we think that people need to not just receive food, but also to educate it on how to grow produce. And then we're also committed to the community. I've been developing and working in the community for many years. And Thomas and I are committed to this building and to doing more in the community. So you'll see this purple space next to the Oco Farms is going to be a leasing office as well as an office. We will be here to work with people permanently. We want to be here when people have issues, when they have complaints, when there are things we want to promote. So we will have an office that will be here in the building. And then further down in the purple lavender portion is the entrance to the residential part of the building. Okay, the next is New York City has one of the first frameworks for enterprise green communities. And what that is an opportunity or a framework for green building, for sustainability, and for resiliency. And according to green building standards, we are required and we are able to provide more efficiency, more energy efficient appliances. So all of the appliances will be stainless steel, there'll be gas stoves, and they'll be Energy Star certified. We'll also be providing, a lot of times you see these buildings with the through the roof air conditioning. We won't be doing that with this building. You won't see air conditioners hanging out. We're doing something called ERS systems for heating and cooling. It's more efficient, it's better and cleaner air. It's also better for noise attenuation. We'll also be providing on the green roof rainwater treatment elements so that water is collected for future use in other areas of the building. This is more efficient. It also makes for better use of water supplies. As well, we'll be using water sense labeled fixtures. A lot of buildings today can be built so that you can recognize when leaks and things of that nature affect the building. We know they have a great negative impact when there's a leak in the building, and they're very difficult to detect and they cause a lot of damage. We'll be making this building more green with water monitoring systems to detect leaks. This is another rendering of the building from a different view. And as has been mentioned, there are multiple entrances on
multiple entrances, and this one is the Prescott Place entrance, where the residential, thank you, the residential entrance is on the, in the middle of the block. And also you can see from this view how the 14 stories steps down to the 9, which then steps down to the 6 stories. Also interesting about this, I think we should note, is there will be 44 parking spaces. Additionally, we have been in talks with New York State Department of Environmental Protection about ensuring that there's no or reduced congestion because there will be so many residents as well as a grocery store. And what the Department of Environmental Protection as well as DOT have worked out with us, and we're still working on it, is because both the larger avenues are Ralph and Howard, but the smaller streets we sit between Prescott and Bancroft are one block streets. They are one-way streets. So DOT and DEP are working to change the direction of one of the one-ways so that it will work clockwise, and that will mean a circular flow of traffic so that it mitigates congestion. Lastly, thank you for your patience. Lastly, we received a certification for the land use application that we filed in November, just a couple of months ago. We met with CB3's Housing and Land Use Committee on December 12th. We're here tonight, and then we hope to condense the time over the next 60 days, which will be the Borough President's review, City Planning Commission, and City Council review. And we anticipate approval late spring, look to close in June 2019, start construction in the summer, fall, and then construct for 18 to 24 months, leading to renting up the property, hopefully ending rentals in 2021, and hoping to provide something of great value and great social impact to the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation, Ms. Powers. The Borough Hall is having their hearing on January 23rd. 6 p.m. January 23rd. Okay, so we're gonna take questions. And how many, we got 2 mics?
Yeah, I'm gonna work that. No,
Hold on, we're gonna have 2 mics, so, young man, you have your hand up? So that, just wait, hold on a second for the mic. We're gonna wait for the mic, so it's on the public record.
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay, so we'll start with questions from the public. And when you speak, if you could first give your name before you ask a question.
Oh, yeah, where we at?
Young man right here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. So as a young person, driver, member.
What's your name?
Jelani England, representative of the community-based organization here in New York City. How is it gonna affect congestion on Atlantic Avenue? Knowing there's a supermarket, people like stopping short, is that gonna affect Atlantic Avenue over the traffic?
Yes, so the.
You can't hear your mic.
What am I saying?
I think, can you hear me?
He's changing the batteries. Give him a second.
Did anybody hear my question though?
The question was, what's going to happen with traffic on Atlantic Avenue, essentially, right?
Testing 1, 2, radio check.
The city requires, as a part of this process, land use process, that there's a traffic study. So the traffic study was performed, and there are a few things that are happening. One is, as I mentioned, the direction of the traffic is being changed from the 2 one-way streets so that there is a one-way going one way, going the other way. So there's now clockwise motion. That's number 1. Number 2, the location of the entrance is not on Atlantic Avenue. The traffic study requires that the entrance be on one of the side streets. That's number 2. Number 3, there's a loading berth, which I did not point out, just in the interest of time. But the loading berth, which is really oftentimes the reason for a lot of traffic loading. The loading berth is also located strategically in the middle, which I have the site plan, in the middle of Bancroft, and they asked us to widen it from 12 feet to 25 feet, so that we can have multiple trucks coming in at one time. The final thing, which has not been worked out, will be the hours during which those vehicles can make deliveries. That is still to be finalized, and DOT and DEP, the Department of Environmental Protection and DOT, will make those changes, designations, once the ULURP is approved, then they can tell us the hours.
Thank you. Okay, again, member of the public is
You got over
over
there.
right here?
On that side, Mr. Flato, over there first.
Okay, and then this lady here.
Rob
Member of
Smith.
the public.
Yes, Rob Smith, member of the public. First of all, let me commend you on including parking in your plan, because that is something we rarely see. My second common question is with regard to the amount of fluid water that is being used in this proposal. You are dealing with hydroponics and water storage. And my concern is the management of that with regard to waterborne organisms such as Legionella and fungi. So I'm just questioning from an engineering point of view, how are you going to manage the storage? How are you going to manage?
And the question came from a medical doctor.
Right, of which I am not. But
I'm just saying that I recall
That's a good
from
No, it's a
years
good
ago, in the Bronx, they had Legionella outbreaks because, large facilities that store water, that's an issue. And you guys are going to be using a lot of water. So I'm just raising that question. You haven't thought of it. You want to come back with the answer.
Thank you so much for that insight. Thank you very much. That is actually an issue that we actually have not discussed at this point. Our focus has been, where should this water go? It should be on the roof, because it'll leak throughout the entire building. That's why it's on the ground floor. And it's really, our focus has been about creating this platform for Ogo Farms to grow. This is going to be their largest operation by far. I'm looking forward to really helping her to launch out and grow her business. I tell you what, she's done aquaculture, farming all over the world. So I think she is well versed in these matters, but we will bring this up to her as soon as humanly possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Over here.
Carol Jenkins, former educator.
Thank you.
Therefore, my question is about the children. What will be the school district and how far are schools from the residence of these young people?
Are you asking what school the kids attend?
Yes, where will they go?
That we don't know the school system. I have to get back to you. I don't know the school system. I'll have to get back to you on that.
It's in District 16.
That might be something we want to look into.
Okay.
You should know.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You gotta find schools in District 16 that are near there. Okay, I think
Question over
the
here.
council member has a question.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Councilwoman Alika Samuel. I just want to say, first of all, that I appreciate this presentation. I appreciate the thoughtfulness that was put into this project, because I've seen a million different developers over the past year who just did not care at all. And so I really do appreciate the effort that you put in. My first question I have is related to the grocery store options. Can you speak a little bit about the square footage and what could go into that particular size and what cannot go, just so we can have an understanding? And the second question is related to the supportive housing units. There's I know there's about 10% of the units will be for homeless individuals. And so can you speak to the population of homeless? Will it be veterans? Will it be seniors? And what, I know BNS is going to be in there, but do you have a separate supportive housing program that will be working with the homeless individuals that will be going into the units?
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for the question, and we really appreciate your support and your comments.
So regarding the size of the grocer, 15,000 square foot is the size that can fit. Some of the carriers that the community likes has they have a brand for a 15,000 square foot model, which is why we chose that square footage. I don't want to mention any names of carriers yet, because we don't want to make any promises that we can't deliver, but it will be full service. They're gonna have lounge areas, gonna have kitchen warmer areas, gonna have frozen food areas, gonna have the things that you would see in the grocery stores, coffee.
Just because I'm I'm not sure people.
Open to the mic, please.
Just because people may not be familiar with the 15,000 square foot, like, technical term, so
Okay,
can a
like,
Whole
I
Food
think-
go there? Can a
Okay,
Trader
it could
Joe
be
go
like a
there?
mini
Or-
Trader Joe's or a mini Whole Foods is what it could be. And we, that would be our desire. But we do have commitments from some of the other folks, like the Associated, Crasdale. We have all the major, all the regular players, we have commitments from them. But we would like to see one of the new entrants. So there's a brand by Whole Foods called 365. So 365 has a smaller brand, smaller store. Some of you may have seen it. There's one in Fort Greene. If you think about that one, that's kind of the size that this would fit. And so there would be coffee shop, prepared foods, organic produce, an opportunity for frozen, wild caught fish. Some of the, really healthy opportunities would be there.
A social
And the second
service
question-
provider, right, the social service provider.
Then the second question regarding the social services.
Go ahead, so, go ahead. ACMH, the Association for Care Management and Housing, they have a presence in Brooklyn, they have a presence all over the city, wonderful work. They're gonna service these people, they're gonna have 24-hour service, they have their own dedicated space in the building for that purpose. SPMI, it's called serious and persistent mental ill, it's not an acute, it's a, best way to describe it is, it's a chronically homeless population that can prove that they have a need for social services, so it's not a very acute situation, but it's the homeless population actually needs housing. So it's, that's the population, and AC is 10% of the population, we need to do that either way, that's kind of the mandate and the HG projects.
We're gonna go to the board members now.
There's one more.
I wanna go to the board members, then we'll get back to the public. Board members, you got some mics?
My question, Greg Glasgow, Community Board. My question is, the designs look very nice. My question is, who is the architect that you used to design it, and are they an MPE?
GF55 architects, they are not MPE. They are not MPE. They do a lot of work for me. We have worked with MPEs. We have worked on this project by MPEs, but the architect of record is not an MPE.
Did the architect use any MPE engineers on the project?
What's MPE?
Minority business.
I'm an MPE. I know what that is. Thank you very much. We have a structural MEP. No, they have not. So, they have not. We're gonna have MPEs working on our project for sure, in terms of general contracting. Our project is not, finished. There are other things, there's legal work that's being done on our project by MPEs. We're MPEs that have chosen to work together on this project. There's a concerted effort to get MPEs to be working on our project. Also a concerted effort to do the best job we can. So we have to focus on that, but we are getting people, MPEs involved in our project.
Okay, we need a mic up here. Got another board member question?
Right here. Yeah, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Felicia Alexander. My first question is, so I see that you're gonna have parking, but for 235 units, you're only having 44 spaces. So I'm a little concerned that that is not enough spaces for the amount of people coming in your building. Now, I know the assumption is because it's affordable housing and that some of them are going to be from homeless, that the thought is, okay, they're not going to have cars. But you have 43 units that are 3-bedrooms. 3-bedroom apartments usually belong to families. So all of those spaces is going straight to those families. So anybody else in the 2-1 studio, there's no place for them to park. Where are they gonna go?
They got your question, Sue. One of them.
Thank you for the question. It's very well taken. As it turns out, because of the level of affordability that we're offering, there's no requirement for parking. It's waived when you have a certain number of units below AMI percentage. So what we did was we provided for the 44, even though there was no requirement to do so. But I do understand what you're saying. The other thing is, we did some studies, we did a traffic study before, and based on the studies, other buildings in the community that are new are not utilizing all of their parking. So we tried to figure out just the best number that we could come up with, knowing that there was no requirement, and there's some other buildings where the parking that was built is not being utilized. Fewer people are parking these days, fewer people are driving, they're using, which we do have, by the way, people are using shared services. So we do have spaces for Uber and other Lyft, other shared economies cars to come and to park and to pick people up. We have 5 spaces for that.
Any other board member questions?
Yes,
Board member
Janelle-
over here.
Janelle Swift, board member. Just to piggyback off of Felicia's question, I'm more concerned, and thank you for this caliber of project coming to our neighborhood, but I'm really concerned about the parking just for the grocery store. Because if you're doing 15,000 square feet, I shop at Trader Joe's, I shop at Whole Foods, and it's ridiculous what's about to come. And if it's off of Atlantic Avenue, the residents on Prescott and Bangkok and Herkimer, they're not gonna have parking at all. You're putting that size of a, I tend to drive to the one in Queens, which does have parking, but it's bananas.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
So this is a big issue, and I understand what you're saying. So a couple of things. The residents on the street, the townhouses that are on that street have parking at their homes. So they do have dedicated spaces. So that's one thing. Second thing is, we have a similar number of spaces as those. I know that it is crowded at the other locations you're missing, but that is a similar number of spaces. None of them provide more than 50 spaces. And finally, the 44 parking spaces, 30 are appointed to residents and the balance are for the grocery store. So there will be a intended garage, so people will be circulating in and out. So even though there's a certain number of spaces there, it is an intended garage and people will come in and out. So it's not just a static number of spaces. They will be replaced throughout the day.
Okay, Dr. Lamb, you have a question? I saw your hand up. Ms. Head.
I have a question.
Dr. Lamb,
Yes. Hi, my name is Dr. Deborah Lamb. It's my understanding that you were awarded this through the mix and match program, which means that 50% of the units have to go to moderate or middle income households earning up to 130% of AMI. And so how many of the units are specifically for low income? How many are specifically for seniors? And how many are specifically for homeless? And then secondly, what I understand that you were awarded this RFP, but we don't know the amount that you were awarded, but you were awarded it with Thoroughbird companies, and so who? Thoroughbird.
He's Thoroughbird on
Okay.
Debar.
All right, so what was the total amount that you were awarded?
So I can answer a few of those different questions. You mentioned that the mix and match program goes up to 130% of AMI. After talking with various stakeholders, we understood that 130% of AMI is very high for this part of the community. So we are not even offering any units at this point at 130%, nor at 120%, nor 110%, nor 100%. So, in keeping with what we've heard from stakeholders, we have reduced the cost to rent apartments. So they only go up to, as you can see, 80% of AMI. So that's the first thing. So mix and match allows you under that program to mix low and moderate with middle income. So in keeping with what we feel the community wants, we reduced voluntarily out of our pockets, reduced the AMIs. That's number one. Number two, we were awarded is the 12 sites that are owned by HPD. Thomas, who's the head of Thoroughbird, and I'm the head of Devon Williams, who are the head of DeBar, we went out and invested our own money, our own private capital, and purchased 3 more sites. So the city awarded us 12, we went and bought 3 more on our own. And so now the project consists of 15 sites altogether. So the award is not money, the award is land.
Yeah, what's the total project cost?
The total project cost is $117 million. Total project cost is $117 million. We spent $3.7 million on the 3 private sites. The rest of the project, the capital stack is about $50 million in bonds.
Yeah.
He's the mathematician.
Yeah, but I don't have the budget in front of me, and we have a number of projects, so I don't have those numbers, but I can walk you, anyone who wants to ask that after this, and I avoid the question.
So it's 117 million, that's construction and the soft costs.
Everything, total development.
All right, Ms. Mary Head, can we get a mic for her?
This room is that a room also?
Mary Head, and then Omar. Mary Head.
My name is Mary Head. My concern is about the security for inside there. What do you have involved for the people that's going to be residents there?
So we're gonna have 24-hour security. That's one of the benefits of, even though the supportive housing is such a small piece. Even though supportive housing is such a small piece of the project, because it's in there, it's required enhanced security, so it's gonna be much more security than usual on a moderate income housing project, 24-hour security.
Thank you. Oma?
I just want to.
What's your name?
Oma Holloway. I just want to, I appreciate the presentation. And we've had numerous developers come here who would not go near 100% affordable housing. So I just want to remind the board members, as we are talking about questions around parking, that in a community that is so overdeveloped with apartments, with condos that are not even close to what you're offering, let's keep in perspective what we are asking, as we do not ask some of these questions of other developers that come and will not even come close to 100% affordable housing.
Thank you. I can't see. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, TJ Wilson. All I wanna know is, what are your names, the names of the companies, the developers?
So, my name is Thomas Campbell. I'm the founder and principal of Thoroughbird Companies. Thoroughbird. Play on words, Thoroughbird. I'm the owner and founder of that company.
Dewanna Williams, Dawanna, last name Williams, and the company is DeBar Development Partners. D as in David, A as in Apple, B as in boy, A as in Apple, R Development Partners. I'm the founder and owner of DeBar Development Partners. We've been in business for 15 years, developing in Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Bed-Stuy, Bushwick, East New York.
Okay. Joe Long, and then Mr. Mabona. Joe?
Yeah, Party Joe. My question is to follow up to her. My question was asking who was the developer. We're talking about this building, but we got to remember, if you have the developers coming in, what guarantees us that we will get a percentage of the work that's going to be done in that building? Because if you bring in these developers, what makes them hire the minority community to do some of the work instead of bringing in their own people? So we have to be mindful of that.
So, 2 things. First, we are the developers. I know people aren't used to seeing us develop for us, but we are the developers.
Yeah, they are the developers.
We are the developers. People have asked us this 100 times. It is us. We invested 3.7 million of our own money
We're
to
gonna
buy
have to draw
products.
this to a
It is us.
conclusion. Mr. McBono?
So just to answer more technically your question. So HPD has something called the Build Up Program. They require that 30% of all trades, all jobs be filled by NWBEs. They check quarterly. We will be not only fulfilling that 30%, but exceeding it. We've already been talking with a few people who are in the room tonight, who are on the board, about contacting, about their trades being subcontractors on the job. Even though I know the question came up about NWBEs, there are things you do to start the project, but then there's a whole lot of work that happens later on. So we will be doing a lot of hiring of NWBEs once we get there, but we have to get there first, and that's
So
why.
we have a question over here. So Mr. McBono, we got a bunch of additional questions. We got a public hearing. Yeah, go on.
Hi, Kenneth Mbonu. First of all, I have to congratulate you guys. I'm very impressed with your setup. I'm very proud. Now I know your name, Thoroughbear, and
Thomas Campbell at Thoroughbear
Development Partners. So as you're looking into this, thank you, brother. As you're looking into this community space arena, one thing you might also want to think of is a business incubator space. Because that's something that is lacking in the community, and we have different phases here of income in the community, and they need a space to explore their entrepreneurial power. So look at an incubator space. And also to our community, to our council member, and to you guys, there's nothing there about a green space. So, you might want to consider, I know.
It is green space, but we can talk about it later.
Okay, but I know.
7,000 square feet of green space.
Not the aquaponic thing on the roof.
On the second floor,
Oh.
which was in the middle of the site plan.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Mr. Freeman.
My name is Eddie Freeman. Hello.
Quiet, please.
My name is Eddie Freeman. I have a business here for 39 years in Bedford. HPD know how to get the support of every one of the developers because they send people that look like us, okay? But when the people start working in those buildings, those contractors will not look like us, okay? And when those businesses are presented, there won't be any people in those stores that own those stores that look like us. So they know how to use us. Thank you, so beware.
Okay, we got two more questions, we have to close it out. Yeah, three more, that's it.
Good evening. I only have one question, but I do want to say
What
also
question?
congratulations,
I'm sorry, what is your name?
Stephanie Zimmerman. I want to say congratulations for presenting a 21st century building in this community. So thank you very much for that. I want to ask you about the art space. I know you didn't mention any names, but could you talk a little bit about what your design is? Because we do have a very good community partner who is looking for art space. We have an incredible museum there, but it sounded like you also wanted it to use it for community space as well. So I just wanted to know if you could talk a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Sure, we received numerous calls, talked to a number of people in the community, including Councilwoman, we called Chris Grant about it. The idea has been, because of the amount of interest that we receive, has been to provide space for exhibitions and space for rental on an ongoing basis, because so many artists just cannot afford to have studios or to have space for exhibitions. So right now, the idea is to rent it out for exhibitions on an ongoing basis. But we're happy to talk with people because it's not formal, but we're happy to talk with them.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Orlando Ross. Thank you for such an amazing presentation. Question I wanted to ask you very quickly. You talked about the grocery space. I did some research on Whole Foods and Trader Joe's, and a lot of people say Whole Foods, they have the connotation whole paycheck. And I know they're doing the 365 for millennial usage, would you be open to other organizations, or can the community board make recommendations?
Absolutely.
For other, so that they can be in the mix? And
Absolutely, we're open.
what would be one of your bids?
We're totally open. One that we have on the list is Brooklyn Fair, but we're totally open.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes, hello? Yes, hello?
Yeah, go on.
Hello, my name is Curtis King. I actually live on Bancroft Place. And you said you're changing the direction of one of the blocks. Are you guys aware of which block you're gonna change?
We do not know yet.
All right, because you have the entrance of the grocery store on Bancroft Place, and you do realize there's a truck or repair station directly across the street, which is always overcrowded with.
Yes, we're in direct communication with them, and we're in communication with them. There will be some coordination with them.
And you do realize there's a lot of little kids that live on the block, families, and traffic
Absolutely.
going up that block would be kind of ridiculous with trucks and
We're totally aware
delivery
of it.
trucks.
We've been talking with the neighbors, we've been in touch with everybody. Everybody's aware, we've been talking with them.
And what about garbage disposal? Like, what are your plans with that? Do you guys have a compactor?
Yes, the city has a requirement for compactors, and there's a whole plan, and the city is used to dealing with trash, so there's a plan for compactors.
Okay, Ms. Richburg, you got a question?
You said no. You said
yes.
Go to the mic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Carolyn Richburg, I just wanted to follow up a little more on the electrical and plumbing school. Like, what is that detailing? Because, you know, in a community such as this one, we need to have more focus on our young people. So when you said that, I was like, wow, that's nice. But what kind of school would it be? A real accredited one? Would it be certified?
Neighborhood Housing Services has been in the community for 40+ years, and now Brooklyn Neighborhood Services, we'd have to talk with them. Richard Trout, who's been around for quite a while as the president, he would have to answer those questions. But I do know that it is for school training, but I don't know if it's accredited, et cetera. They're in charge of the program, so I don't know that, I'm sorry.
Okay.
My name is Pastor Derek McDowell, and I'd like to find out what is the source of the subsidies and the guarantee of the subsidies, how long that guarantee is for. Second, who is being awarded the contract for maintaining the common areas?
So the subsidies are from the New York City Housing Preservation Department Development and New York City HDC Housing Development Corp. Guarantees. We have a 30-year financing. We have not negotiated the guarantee. We're personally guaranteeing the project for sure, but we don't know how long the guarantee is going to be. They're probably going to be about 5 years and burn off after that. That's how we usually work on our projects, and then go from there. We're going to negotiate them the best we can. If we shorter than that, if we could. We're personally liable for these, for every source of financing. We're liable for these sources of financing. What's the second question?
Who's awarded the contracts for maintaining the common areas?
So we have a property manager that is in mind right now, and our property manager are going to manage those spaces. I understand the question. Sometimes these areas are not well maintained, sometimes they're not mowed, sometimes.
You want to know who the property manager will be?
Who the property manager
Yeah.
will be maintaining the common.
So what's the name of the property manager?
So the property manager on the table now is, if tentatively is Wade Risk Management.
Okay, so that answers this question. Good. Okay, last question.
Good evening. My name is Naima Oyo. I'm the Vice President of the Van Block Association. I want to congratulate you on putting together a project that has 100% affordability under 80% AMI. My question is around the application process. Where are the tenants being pulled from? Is it a lottery? Is there a certain percent of the units that are reserved for Community Board 3, or a certain percentage of the units that are reserved for that particular zip code?
Yes, the project is 100% affordable. There will be a lottery. There is a preference of 50% of people from the community for these units. And the city takes it very seriously, we will take it very seriously, we're stakeholders here, so 50% the preference is for 50% of the units to go to people from the community.
And you make community board 3 or like what is the community defined as?
Community Board 3 is the area that's defined a preference for the neighborhood. So Community Board 3.
Okay, thank you very much. We have to
Thank you
move on.
so much. Thank you all.
Okay, so we just had 2 hearings, and actually, so was both the, right. Yeah, we also dealt with the disposition. We're gonna move on to the, next 3 public hearings of the Economic Development Committee. They're gonna be introduced by the Chair of the Economic Development Committee, Mr. Taiwan Anthony.
Hold on, before Taiwan comes on, Housing and Land Use Committee members, please be. Dennis George outside to caucus about the public hearing. All those on the Housing and Land Use Committee, please be Dennis and Ellen outside to caucus.
Okay.
All right, good evening, everyone, good evening. All right, so we have from the Economic Development Committee, we have the alcohol beverage control license applications. Is everyone still excited?
Quiet, please.
Right on the set.
Like you said, right on the set.
Smoking little Mark.
All right, so the first presentation we have, business located at 990 Broadway between Vernon Avenue and Willoughby Avenue. The presentation will be given by the president, Mark Grabowski. We have the president, the other owner, and also their attorneys here to represent.
Take a picture. Thank you.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, go on.
Hi, Chairperson Plateau, greetings, Economic Committee Development Chair Anthony, greetings to the board members.
Quiet, please.
My name is Anthony Caravallo, I'm the representative for the 2 applicants, Marek Gligorski and Christopher Rich. They are applying for a full liquor license at 990 Broadway, which is between Vernon and Willoughby. This will be a bar restaurant. Hours of operation will be from 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. There's projected staffing of 10 people.
Quiet, please.
Little history about the location.
If you have a conversation, please take it into the hallway. Thank you.
Little history about the location. This premises has been licensed since 2012 with a full liquor license, so we'll not be adding an additional liquor license to the community. Ironically, the last applicant was a premises called Brooklyn Finger Lakes Cafe. I also represented them. We were here in May 7th, actually 8 months to the day. We got a very favorable vote from the committee. We were gracious and fortunate that we were approved 25-6 with 2 people abstaining. Unfortunately, they closed down. They couldn't make it several months down the road. They were fighting to open and they just couldn't make it. Their liquor license was applied for and pending, but was never granted. Closed down. Fast forward to these 2 gentlemen in front of me. Marek, I know for over 15 years. He has 3 other licensed establishments, which I'll get into in a moment. The landlord at 990 Broadway is also the landlord at his establishment called East River in Williamsburg, which he's had for 15 years, since 2003. So he's a very good operator, he's a model tenant, and because of that, the landlord actively invited him to take this space that was recently vacated because the prior occupant unfortunately went out of business. So that's the basic history tying it together. A little bit about these 2 gentlemen. They have 3 active liquor licenses. 2 of them are within a mile and a half. They have a license at 222 Bushwick, which is called Tradesman. Marek has had that since 2011 with another partner. Christopher and Marek are also licensed at 1438 Myrtle, called the Bootleg Bar. We've had that license since 2013. And the aforementioned license at Marriott in Williamsburg is 15 years old. Clean operating records, they're responsible operators, they have 3 licensed premises, they have clean records with the SLA that never had any issues. So that's the brief introduction. I'll just quickly go through this slideshow. So just some basic information about the premises, the applicants. Applicant summary, this is all the required documentation. So it's a supervision plan we have, we'll touch upon that for a moment, I think that's important. As experienced operators, these gentlemen know how to operate an establishment with a liquor license. So that's one good thing for the community, they're not going to be irresponsible, they're not going to run an establishment that will be a detriment to the quality of life. So some components of their supervision plan. All staff will properly be trained to obtain correct and legal identification of patrons ordering any alcoholic beverages. All staff will be properly trained to identify if a patron is physically intoxicated and can no longer serve alcohol. This is interesting, a lot of people do not do this, but both owners are tip certified and all staff that serves alcohol will be the same. So that's a special class above and beyond the State Liquor Authority offers for responsible operators. There'll be a staff member responsible to consistently monitor the exterior of the premises to ensure there are no disturbances when patrons enter and exit the establishment. There'll be at least 2 staff members on weekends who will be responsible for security on the premises, and there'll be a camera system of at least 10 cameras on the premises for remote access. So that's a bit about the supervision plan. Moving on, some components of the application that the community board committee required. Statement area plan. There's an establishment questionnaire which has all the specifics about the operation of the establishment. This will be filed with the liquor authority. These are the required signatures. We complied with the board committee's request. We have the 25 signatures. We also have 2 letters that are required from the community as well. This is the licenses that they have, like I mentioned prior. They have 3 existing licenses dating back to 2003. And 2011 and 2013, all clean operating records. The certificate of occupancy for the premises, again, it's been licensed since 2012. Diagram. There's a block plot diagram that indicates premises in the immediate area. Some photographs. There's a menu. There was an email pertaining to locker associations. As per Chairperson Anthony, we searched for block associations in the area, and Sean at the office indicated to us via email that there were no block associations. If there were block associations, we would have reached out to them and made an effort to meet them and tell them what we were looking to do with the establishment. And this is a public interest statement. So I want to close that. I've taken a lot of time, but basically the premises has already been licensed. 8 months ago to the day, you also approved another applicant that didn't have any review experience of these gentlemen. And I think they'll be an asset to the community. I think they have a clean record, and I think these are operators that you guys would want in the community. We'd be glad to address any questions.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. We're going to start with the board members. Any board members have questions?
Raise your hand. Questions over here?
She's got a mic. And please give your name when you start your question or comment.
My name is TJ Wilson. Is this a full bar or what? I don't, you said establishment, but.
Yes, there will be a full liquor license. So there's a kitchen, so it's considered a bar restaurant.
And what does tip certified mean? What is that?
So the liquor authority has a class that you can take online that basically certifies that they can operate an establishment in a responsible fashion. They have to take a course, answer questions, and they get a certificate at the end of that. The liquor authority also gives you a reduction if there's ever any violations, which these guys never had any, but if you're tip certified, the liquor authority will actually give you a reduction if you ever got a violation. You do a 25% reduction on the civil penalty.
Okay, any other board member questions?
Yes, we have one here.
Do you have any?
What's your name?
Mary Timothy here. you have representatives from the community that associate with your business or nearby your business?
I didn't get a question.
Could you repeat the question?
Do you have any representative from your business area that you're gonna service?
No, we obtained the required 25 signatures, we got letters, and the signatures are also for people that live directly in the building. So that was the protocol that we followed. We don't have anybody here to speak on their behalf.
Question about hiring, local hiring?
Representative from this business.
Represent.
Do they have anybody to support them?
Yeah, so just to, touch on that also, question, so, at the committee level, the committee does a thorough.
Okay, you're gonna give your report before so the committee visited, they'll give their report before we have the vote. Okay, any other board member questions? Any questions from the public?
Any questions on the public?
Okay, if not, I'm gonna close the hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. We're gonna move to our next public hearing, and it's also for a liquor license. The introduction will be given by the chair of the Economic Development Committee, Mr. Stuyvesant.
Again, good evening. So coming from the Economic Development Committee, alcohol beverage control license application for the establishment called Hungry Tiger. And they are located at 380 Marcus Garvey Boulevard. That's on the corner. The presentation will be given by the legal rep, Michael Kelly.
Is there Andre Parker here?
Yes. There you go.
Okay.
It's so crazy. I was talking to you the whole time.
Thank you, Tom. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Callahan. Unfortunately, Mike Kelly couldn't make it this evening, so I'll be doing the presentation. With me is Evan Thomas,
Quiet, please.
Who's the owner of the location. So this is our on-premise liquor license for Hungry Tiger Inc. Our doing business name is yet to be determined. Next slide, please. We're located at 388 Marcus Garvey Boulevard between Jefferson and Hancock Street. This was formerly the Everyday Coffee Shop, which was also run by Evan. Evan opened the coffee shop at this location for basically the locals, the neighbors in the area, so that they could come together, sit, get to know each other, have a good time over a cup of coffee or two. Unfortunately, coffee didn't pay the rent, so the shop had to close down. So now we're going in a totally different direction. Next slide, please. So this will be a small cocktail lounge with 5 tables and 16 seats, and a bar with 12 seats. So it's not a big location. It's more like a lounge type to the neighbors that come together, socialize over a cocktail or two. Next slide, please. So, as you see, it's a small place. We'll have light background music through an iPod or an iPad. Hours of operation will be 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Next slide, please. We don't have permission from the building department to have a kitchen, but we will have a light menu. So this is the prep area where the menu will be prepared. You can see the menu on the right side. Beer and cocktail and wine listed on the left side. Next, please. So Evan has experience in the industry, especially working with alcohol. Worked as a bartender at the Waldorf Astoria for a number of years. Is now was manager of the Left Hand. So he's worked in establishments. He knows how to serve responsibly. Next slide, please. He's busy. That's it, okay. So, Evans also, lived in the neighborhood. How long you lived in the neighborhood?
Off and on for 9 years. I lived in.
Why don't you let him talk?
Camera's like, smile.
I will. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I lived in Bedside in 3 different locations over the last 9 years. For 2 years, when I started managing Left Hand Path, I moved over to Bushwick, just for those 2 years. And then I moved back. Right now I live at Lexington Troop, and that's about 6 blocks away from this location. I personally be the bartender, at least at the beginning, until we can hire everybody that will need to run the place. If I can take any other questions.
Okay, we'll start with the public. Any questions from the public? Okay, if not, any questions from board members?
Yeah.
Okay, we have some mics?
Yeah, I'm coming.
All right, this is TJ Wilson again. Economic Committee, did you give us a paper on those folks?
That is correct. That is the paper, that is the site visit paper that actually, went out via email earlier.
Oh, went out earlier.
And then, yeah, it's also available on the table as well. That was the site visit.
Oh, okay, I didn't get it, thank you. All right. So, I don't have a question yet.
Okay, yes,
Hi.
go on.
Oh, hi, Simone Pratt. 2 questions. I may have missed it, but did you share the hours of operation?
Yes.
And then secondly, what is your stance on hiring people in the community? I didn't hear anything about that as well.
The way that we do hire people at the bar that I manage, and the way that we plan to hire people at this bar, will be putting one sign in. I've been in Bedside for a very long time, for somebody who moved here from out of town. Because I've been here for 9 years and I've hung out in the neighborhood bars, I know that there are fantastic bartenders that live in Bedside, and I plan to hire them. We plan to have only people that live in Bedside working in this bar.
Just wanted to make sure that there's sort of a sense of being inclusive in our community, but then also the hours of operation. I didn't hear you answer.
5 p.m. to 4 a.m. It is a 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. request.
7 days a week.
Yes, 7 days a week, that's right. Mostly because the people that we did get the signatures from, everybody that does live in the area that gave us signatures, they all are hospitality industry workers. They all work 2nd and 3rd shift, and they don't have anywhere to go at any time after 1:30 a.m. That's everything on Marcus Garvey closes down. So they walk home from the C train and from the G train, and they don't have anywhere to stay. As a result, they want a place that's open a little later. This is a very low-key place, and a place that will have good security at all times, and that security will be a presence for anybody that is on Marcus Garvey.
All right, Mr. Mabono.
Yes, hi, Kevin Bowman. This is more of a communicational question. I saw in your menu, you put natural wine. What's that? Is that without preservatives, or what's natural wine?
Yeah, natural wine is basically a wine that's been made without sulfites. It's a general term that kind of like, it takes care of the terminology that would be described as either natural or so organic, sustainable grapes, like grapes from farms that are sustainably grown, and then also biodynamic, which is, those are like 3 tiers of natural wine. Basically, the idea is that it's just good wine. There's
So basically, it is just hype.
It's wine, but it's handpicked.
Okay, any other board member questions?
All right, cool, next question.
Right there. Okay.
Hi, just a quick question. Do you have outdoor space?
What's your name?
Janella Smith, board member. Do you have an outdoor space? And will you be playing music till 4 a.m.?
The radio will be on, our stereo will be on, it will not be loud, we do not have outdoor space.
Okay. Questions from the public? Yeah. You pass that, lady? Thank you.
Just would like to know if you.
What is your name, ma'am?
Oh, Lisa,
You gotta talk into the mic.
Yes, I just would like to know if you provide the workers with the medical benefits and so on?
Under 10, no, they don't have. Right.
At this point, we don't have any plans to provide medical benefits.
You don't have to.
Okay. Yes.
What is the
We
nearest?
need to get you a mic, and you give your name.
Carol Jenkins, what is the nearest bar to your location?
Directly next door.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the public? Okay, if not, I'm going to close this public hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the last public hearing is canceled. They did not show. I'm sorry for this team. I'll let you describe what happened. This team. Okay. No, you gotta go. We're gonna move on to community announcements. Okay, somebody absconded with the sheet. We have community announcements. So we're gonna go by the honor system. Who signed up for community announcements?
When you sign up for community announcements? Yeah, we got announcements.
And if you can please, hold up. If you can please keep your comments to 2 minutes or less. Thank you. Community announcements. And give your name, you gotta come up to the front. There's a microphone. Name and organization, you're with the organization, whatever.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simone Simpson, and I work for the Brooklyn Job Corps Academy. I am the business community liaison, also the workplace coordinator. For those who are not aware, Job Corps has been around. It's one of the oldest federal funds. What we do, we provide assistance for individuals 16 to 24 years of age. If anyone have any question, I will be sitting at the back there. I'll be willing to give you more details. And also for those business individuals who are here, I'm having a business community council meeting on January 25th, and I would love for you to come out and see what we do at Job Corps.
Thank you. Brooklyn Job Corps.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vanessa Jones. I'm a daycare provider. My daycare is ABC 123. I'm a family daycare, and I'm just starting out as a nonprofit organization. And I am looking for children. I take for infants to 12 years old, after school pickup. My legs is my car. I go to different schools, and I provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is my flyer. I don't have a lot, but I have some. But my phone number is 929-888-5108, and I'm located on Fulton Street between Stuyvesant and Utica. I do it out of my home. I'm just starting out, but I'm trying to push my way up. And I go to Concord, North Mary. Henry Butler is my cousin, so I'm trying to get out
Good evening, how y'all doing today? Good evening, how y'all doing today, beautiful people? It's my first time at a community board meeting. My name is Rashawn. I'm here with Good Call NYC. Excuse me, I got a broad voice. First, I just want to say I'm glad to be with all you beautiful black people. So definite facts. Secondly, I want to introduce what we do. So what we do at Good Call NYC is we provide a free hotline that's toll-free. It gives free attorneys in case of arrest in all 5 boroughs. We started off in the Bronx, and now we're in all 5 boroughs pushing it. So right now we're at this community board meeting trying to touch the actual community as much as we can. And these meetings like this, churches, schools, all kind of orgs that are working inside the community or the cornerstone that we're trying to reach. We're just young black brothers on a mission trying to do the right thing and trying to level this criminal justice system so that we all have a fair chance. I appreciate it. Again, Good Call is an actual free hotline that provides free attorneys in all 5 boroughs. It also has a text sign up that allows you to cite emergency contacts. Me being a father of a 10-year-old is very important for me in New York City. I know some of you guys are looking at my hoodie and trying to figure out what we got going here, but it's a message that we stand behind. Because in New York City, a lot of false arrests have happened. We have had a lot of brothers and sisters that stay on records all longer than they need to due to lack or none of legal representation. So we're just trying to make sure that the playing field is level for everybody out here. Again, we're just young brothers trying to do the right thing. We have a whole bunch of cards, a whole bunch of wristbands. If you're an organization that needs us to come by, we would love to come by and drop off content. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, brother. Okay, we're gonna move on to roll call.
Good. We make done? Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Alrighty. Babatunde Akaway.
Present.
Felicia Alexander. Taiwan Anthony. Monique Antoine. Dr. Kim Best. Anthony Buzera. Michael Catlin. Ivy Gamble Cobb. Evelyn Collier. Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle. Taina Evans. Mark Cassell left early, he wasn't feeling well. Richard Plateau.
Here.
Sharon Forbes is excused. Keith Forrest. Dennis George.
Here.
Gregory Plaskow. Shia Greenfeld. Mary Jameson Head. Abby Robinson Hobson. Oma Holloway. Everett Hughes. Therese Uriarte. Edna Johnson. Dr. Curling Johnson. Dr. Deborah Lamb. Marion Little. Dionisio Liz. Hardy Joe Long. Debbie Matthews. Kenneth Mbuno. Ellen Miller. Eldika Murray. Melissa Plowden Norman. Kwaku Payton. Satina Payton. Simone Pratt. C. Doris Penn is excused. Karen Rao is excused. Carolyn Richburg. Stacy Ruffin, present. Suzette Shepherd. Jamela Swift. Chinyalu Udo. Omar Walker. Reverend Dr. Robert Waterman. Shanita Wells. Douglas Williams. DJ Wilson.
Okay, while she's tabulating the roll call, I believe we have a form. She's gonna tabulate the roll call. We're gonna go on to our committee updates and resolutions. I'm gonna ask if we can have the resolutions first. So I know there are 2 resolutions from Landmarks. I ask the chair, Evelyn Collier, to go over the resolutions. And then, is there, I think there's, like a bylaws committee, you can be ready to give your report after, Landmarks. Okay, we have, Form 41 present and 8 absent.
First resolution is certificate of appropriateness, LPC application 19-31556 for 281 Jefferson Avenue. It's a vacant lot. Application is to construct a new building. The block number is 1829, lot 74, zoning R6B, with C33 overlay. LPC public hearing date is January 22nd, 2019. December 10th, 2018, the CD3 Landmarks and Preservation Committee held its regular scheduled meeting. The committee reviewed the project 281 Jefferson Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11216. Proposal to construct a new 2-family house on a vacant lot within the Bedford Stuyvesant, expanded Stuyvesant Heights Historic District. The presentation was made by the architect, Rachel Frankel, of Rachel Frankel Architect. The original building on the site was from a 1890 steel brick building built by Isaac Reynolds. There was, it had to be destroyed, I think many years ago. The project was well presented by the architect. Proposed rear facade is to be stucco rather than brick. We prefer to brick. Architect is proposing a large bulkhead and 42-inch parapet wall. Proposed HVAC system on roof. Proposed opaque door at roof. Windows will be wood with wood brick molding. Resolution: the committee voted unanimously 9-0-0 to submit a letter of support for the 281 Jefferson Avenue project with the following stipulation: that they reduce the bulkhead or replace the roof with stair hatch. Request brick rear facade and place proposed stucco. Action: CP3 Landmark and Preservation Committee is asking the CP3 full board to support our resolution to give a letter of support for 281 Jefferson Avenue with the following stipulation: reduce the bulkhead or replace the roof with stair hatch. Request brick rear facade and place proposed stucco.
Okay, is there a motion on a recommendation from the Landmarks Committee? Yes. Okay. Who's,
Joe's over there.
Saida Evans, motion to support the recommendation from Landmarks. Second, Doug Williams. Any discussion? Okay, I'm gonna call the question.
Sorry about that. Babatunde Agwe.
Yeah.
Felicia Alexander. Yeah. Taiwan Anthony.
Yes.
Monique Antoine. Monique?
I'm here. Yeah.
That's it. Yes? Thank you. Dr. Kim Best? Yes. Anthony Roosevelt?
Yes.
Michael Catlin? Michael?
Yes.
Catlin? Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Ivy Gamble Cobb?
Yes.
Evelyn Collier?
Yes.
Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle?
Yes.
Taina Evans?
Yes.
Richard Plateau?
Yes.
Keith Forrest?
Yes.
Dennis George?
Yes.
Greg Glasgow?
Yes.
Chia Greenfeld?
Yes.
Mary Jameson Head?
Yes.
Abby Robinson Hobson?
Yes.
Oma Holloway?
Yes.
Everett Hughes? Everett Hughes?
Yes.
There we go.
Therese Iriarte? Yes. Edna Johnson? Dr. Deborah Lamb?
Yes.
Marion Little?
Yes.
Marty Joe Vaughn?
Blow your name, bro.
Marty Joe Vaughn?
Yes.
W. Matthews?
Yes.
Kenneth Mbono?
Yes.
Ellen Miller?
Dr. Pearl Johnson, yes.
Dr. Curleen Johnson, sorry about that. Yes, thank you. Kwaku Payton?
Yes.
Satina Payton?
Yes.
Simone Pratt?
Yes.
Stacy Ruffin, yes. Suzette Shepherd?
Yes.
Jamela Swift?
Yes.
Chinyalu Udell?
Yes.
Omar Walker?
Yes.
Shanita Wells?
Yes.
Doug Williams?
Yes.
TJ Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, while she's tabulating the vote, we have a second resolution from Landmarks. Mike?
LPC application, certificate of appropriateness, block 18, lot 16. LPC public hearing will be January 15th, 19. The application for 246 Monroe Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11216, is a request to build a third floor rear yard building extension. The property is situated within the Bedford Historic District. The existing building is a three-story neo-brick style stucco brownstone. It was built in 1881 by architect builder Joshua M. Brush, who was the original owner. The proposed project was presented by the architect Louis Patessa, Rise Architecture, on December the 10th, 2018, at the CB3 Landmark Committee regular scheduled meeting. Also present were the owner, community residents, and member of the Landmark Preservation Committee. Committee comments: building a three-story rear yard extension, building an oversized bulkhead for access to roof. Windows on the upper stories were changed prior to LPC designation reported in 2015. They do not match the historic requirement of the brownstone. Proposed metal railings of roof should be pushed back. Missing corning previously removed should be restored. Proposed condensers on the roof should be moved back. No existing egress in the rear except from the cellar. Original double doors were previously removed. Committee action. Committee voted unanimously 9-0-0 to submit a letter of non-support for the following reason. The revised plan did not reflect previous CB3 feedback. The bulkhead remains too large. Size and configuration of rear windows are inappropriate. Front door should be a double door. Roof railing must be revised. Request for brick rear facade. The rear yard extension should be 2 stories, not 3 stories. Almost there. The committee is asking the community board, full board, to support our resolution to submit a letter of non-support for 246 Monroe Street, Brooklyn, for the reasons stated above.
Okay, is there a motion? It's for a letter of non-support of this project. Moved by Doug Williams, is there a second? Second by Everett Hughes. Any discussion? Okay, I'm gonna call the question. Again, it's for a letter of non-support regarding 246 Monroe Street.
Babatunde Akaway. Felicia Alexander. Taiwan Anthony. Monique Antoine. Dr. Ken Best. Anthony Buzara. Michael Catlin. Ivy Gamble Cobb. Evelyn Collier. Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle. Taina Evans. Richard Flanto. Keith Forrest. Dennis George. Greg Glasgow. Shea Greenfeld. Mary Jameson Head. Abby Robinson Hobson. Oma Holloway. Everett Hughes. Therese Iriarte. Dr. Curleen Johnson. Dr. Deborah Lamb. Marion Little. Hardy Joe Long. Dougie Matthews. Kenneth Embono. Ellen Miller. Kwaku Payton. Satina Payton. Simone Pratt. Carolyn Richburg. Stacy Ruffin. Yes. Suzette Shepherd. Jamela Swift. Chinyelu Udo. Omar Walker. Shanita Wells. Doug Williams. TJ Wilson.
Okay, the chair for Landmark says a very brief announcement, then we're gonna have the chair of the bylaws committee.
Tomorrow is a hearing for 524 to 536 Halsey Street. That's the old Brown and Brown garage that is being converted to apartment building. And the hearing is at LPC headquarters tomorrow at 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock to 10:30. That's 1 Center Street, the 9th floor north. Anyone care to come and make a comment, or you like it, you don't like it, please feel free to do so.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Babatunde Akaway, Chair of the Bylaws Committee. I know the hour is late, but we have important information about the Landmarks Committee. First,
bylaws.
It is late, the Bylaws Committee. Please bear with me, the Bylaws Committee. As you all know, that we have been working diligently to update our bylaws. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Deborah Land and Karen Rao for just taking the time just to get this thing done. There are actually 7 major things on your desk and via email. You should have gotten a proposed mock-up of the bylaws with the proposed amendments. And I'll be brief, but these items are very important. The first one is about meeting notice. Right now, we are on a paper system. You can have the option to get the notices electronic. It actually saves money and time for the board. The second major item is for the general election process, and where upon the nominating committee will be appointed by the chair. It's less than 6 months, and then we go into voting and special election. The next, it deals upon the committees and their proper names as it applies to the city agencies and voting for public members. Please look into this. The fourth item is dealing with the proposed changes for the civic and public safety committees, transportation, housing, and landmarks. The sixth is we added some language on the removal of at-will employees. You have the time to look at this document in its entirety. We will be doing this month and next month, and then we will go to a vote. So please, you have the items. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, it has been changed in form and in substance to make it more concise and precise and more comprehensive so that we have a functional bylaws. You can email me at BKLWE or Ms. Karen Rao. We have spent a lot of time on this. Please look at it and read it, and thank you. God bless. Good night.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it was emailed to everybody, and everybody here should have a copy. If you need my copy, you can come around.
Okay. I also want to publicly thank Taina Evans, young mother over here who
I'm sorry,
came out to several of the.
Blame it on my heart and my head. I'm sorry, Taina.
Thank you. Okay, any other committee updates? Please, you can come to the front, you guys, and make it very short, please, if you start to vote on those, public hearings.
Keep it short.
Please.
All right. I'll keep it short. All right, again, so my name is Howard Anthony from the Economic Development Committee. So we have an event coming up February 7th. So our event is a local hire event. So everyone talks about construction jobs, are we hiring locally? That has happened. So this event is an event with the local developers and also a firm called BTN. And what we're doing, we're partnering with them and assisting in gathering resumes for individuals so they can work on construction sites, so they can work on those construction jobs. Everybody's familiar with the construction site on Troy and Fulton, correct? All right, so these are some of the jobs that are going to be that we're going to be hiring for. So if you know anyone that is a tradesman, if they are laborer, if they have any kind of licenses, please let them come to this event. The event will take place at the lobby of 1368 at Restoration Plaza. Anybody that you know that is in the construction trade, have them come. These events are very successful and they will be put to work immediately. So this is happening in our community, February 7th. All right. Also, sorry, one last thing. April 18th has been confirmed. That is the date for the Economic Development Committee's first Economic Development Conference. Details will follow, but please hold that date in your calendar, April 18th. That will take place at the Skylight Gallery as well. All right? Thank you.
Good evening. The Health and Social Services Committee meeting will be on January 14th instead of on our usual third Monday of the 21st. That will be at 6:30 p.m. and we'll be meeting on the 5th floor at 1360 Fulton across from Councilman Cornegie's office.
Thank you.
Good evening, Happy New Year's, everyone. My name is Marion Little, Chair of False Arts and Culture. This month, we'll be meeting at our regular meeting, February at 6:30, but the meeting will be held in the multi-purpose room on the first floor. The Parks Department has some extra money, they want to do some upgrades and set up to a playground. So we'll be having a school meeting to inform the community about these upgrades. There's not gonna be no major changes, not a capital program, just some play equipment. So we'll be having a school meeting at our monthly meeting, February 6th, 6:30 p.m. at the multi-purpose room on the first floor of Restoration Plaza. All is welcome, invite block associations, clergy, and everyone that want to have some input as to what they put in that block and playground. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Glasgow from the Sanitation, Transportation, and Environment Committee. Our meeting is tomorrow evening at 6:30 in the Community Board office. For anyone interested is welcome to attend.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to action on a public hearing, so we're taking our votes. I'm sorry. Yeah, moving on to action on the public hearing. So the first will be regarding 1921 Full Street project. So we're gonna get the report and recommendation from the first Vice Chair of the Housing and Land Use Committee, Mr. Dennis George.
The committee met and discussed this project. One thing I want to note is that this developer, the developer came before us 3 years ago to inform the RFP was issued to sit and listen to the committee in terms of what we wanted. And they responded to what we wanted. One of the items was affordability of the units, proposing a fresh market and community facilities. And what they had proposed in terms of was 100% affordability was a big plus. Also, before they came to us, there were 3 adjacent lots which were private, and they chose to purchase those lots, which made for a better development project. Another issue was what they proposed in terms of the building. The building Masson had it stepped down to the northern end of that side, the higher 4 stories. So Atlantic Avenue and the 6 stories extended related back to the neighborhood. There was also sustainability initiative, which they presented, and which was a big plus. There's questions on schools, which I believe require more information, so they certainly come back to us with that. The committee met and we voted unanimously to issue a letter of support for this project.
Okay, you heard a recommendation from the Land Use Committee given by first Vice Chair, Mr. Dennis George. Is there a motion on the recommendation for a letter of support?
Second.
Who made the motion? Anthony Youssef, and seconded by Therese Iriarte. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, call the question.
Babatunde Akaway. Felicia Alexander.
Yes.
Taiwan Anthony.
Yes.
Monique Antoine.
Yes.
Dr. Kim Best.
Yes.
Anthony Bozarab.
Yes.
Michael Catlin.
Yes.
Ivy Gamble Cobb. Evelyn Collier. Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle. Sainina Evans. Bridget Plateau. Keith Forrest.
Yes.
Dennis George.
Yes.
Greg Glasgow.
Yes.
Shia Greenfeld. Mary Jameson Head.
Yes.
Abby Robinson Hobson.
Yes.
Oma Holloway.
Absolutely.
Everett Hughes.
Yes.
Therese Iriarte.
Yes.
Dr. Curly Johnson.
Yes.
Dr. Deborah Lamb.
Okay.
Marion Litzel.
Yes.
Barney Joe Long.
Yes.
Debbie Matthews. Kenneth Mbuno. Ellen Miller. Peku Payton.
Yes.
Satina Payton.
Yes.
Simone Kratz.
Yes.
Stacy Ruffin, yes. Suzette Shepherd. Jamila Swift. Chinyalu Udo. Omar Walker. Doug Williams.
Yes.
And TJ Wilson.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, we're gonna move on to next action on public hearing. Reports going to be given by the Chair of the Economic Development Committee, Mr. Taiwan Anthony.
All right, good evening again. Really quickly before we get into that question, did all the board members see the sheet? All right, so this sheet can answer a lot of the questions that you have. So what this sheet is, everyone was emailed this sheet. So the Economic Development Committee created the sheet for our site visits. So every time we go on a site visit, this is the sheet that is done. 6 pictures on the bottom, and we will have a couple of preliminary questions that everyone can look at. So this will ensure you that the site is actually there, a couple pictures in the front, and a couple questions in the front will be answered. For example, if you're a backyard, pictures taken, so on and so forth. So this site inspection sheet is what we're going to call. It's going to be very helpful moving forward in the Economic Development Committee. Mr. Butler did email it prior to our meeting tonight, all right? So if anybody has any questions, please email me and let me know about that. All right, so in regards to the first item, alcohol beverage control license application for Merrick Grabowski located at 990 Broadway between Vernon Avenue and Willoughby Avenue. The presentation was given by their representative. The committee voted to recommend a letter of support.
990
So
Broadway.
990 Broadway, that is letter B.
Okay.
Letter B, 990 Broadway. That was the first group that came up.
Okay, recommendations for letter of support for the business at 990 Broadway. What's the name of the business again? What's the name of the business?
So, so the name is Mark Grabowski, name to be determined.
Okay. Is there a motion on the recommendation? Moved by Santina Page, seconded by Gregory Glasgow. Any discussion on the motion? Call the question. You had a question?
Yeah, I was trying to.
Yeah.
No, so this, so they are, so one thing that the committee has done also, and that's a great question, the question was, what about the time? So what we do, the closing time. So now remember, when it comes to the time that we recommend, we cannot tell them to close. That is the time that we recommend for them to stop serving alcohol, so they can stay open. But as far as us and our recommendation is taken very seriously. Now, on Broadway, it's considered designated one of our commercial quarters. So in that case, yes, we will allow a 4 a.m. Closing time for alcohol for this establishment.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded, so I'm going to call the question. Thank you.
Babatunde Akule. Felicia Alexander.
No.
Taiwan Anthony.
Yes.
Monique Antoine.
Yes.
Dr. Kim Best.
No.
Anthony Buzarek.
Yes.
Michael Catlin.
No.
Ivy Campbell Cobb.
Yes.
Evelyn Collier. Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle.
No.
Taina Evans. She left, right?
Yeah.
Richard Plateau.
Yes.
Keith Forrest.
Yes.
Dennis George.
No.
Gregory Glasgow.
Yes.
Shea Greenfeld.
Yes.
Mary Jamison Head.
Abstain.
Abby Robinson Hobson.
Yes.
Oma Holloway. Everett Hughes.
Yes.
Teddy Sivirate. Edna Johnson. Oh, I'm sorry, she left early. Dr. Carleen Johnson.
Yes.
Dr. Deborah Lamb.
Yes.
Marion Little.
Yes.
Hardy Joe Long.
No.
W. Matthews.
Yes.
Kenneth Mbono.
Yes.
Wait till they leave, you're gonna get feet.
Ellen Miller.
You're gonna get feet.
Quaker Payton.
No.
Satina Payton,
No.
Simone Pratt,
Yes.
Stacy Ruffin, no. Suzette Shepherd,
Yes.
Jamela Swift,
Abstain.
Daniela Udo,
Abstain.
Omar Walker, Shanita Wells, Douglas Williams,
Yes.
TJ Wilson.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, the last, vote we're gonna take, and, okay. Okay, so, last vote's gonna be on Humphrey Tiger, and the vote will be given by the chair of the Economic Development Committee, Mr. Simon.
Again, so out of the Economic Development Committee, alcohol beverage control license application for Hope Tiger Inc., located at 380 Marcus Garvey Boulevard, that's on the corner of Hancock. The presentation was given by the legal rep and also the owner there. The recommendation for the committee was to recommend a letter of support.
Actually, it's 388 Marcus Garvey. 380A Marcus Garvey. Okay.
Question?
Yes. Wait, is there a motion? You have to have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, so it's moved by Doug Williams, seconded by Gregory Glasgow. Any discussion? Yes. You got a question or discussion? Yes.
I just want to know. I just want to know, how can a recommendation be made when it goes against the rules that you set up beforehand for the committee, as far as the hours are concerned, for a particular board?
All right, so within the committee, as you know, we all take votes. So, a lot of the times when you look at the committee and individuals making these votes, a lot of these votes are not unanimous votes. Different people have different, objections and views, so these votes are not unanimous. So what happens is, if somebody votes no, yes, whatever the case is, the majority of that vote does carry. So a lot of the votes within the committee, these are not unanimous decisions. So when I get here and I say this is the recommendation, that does not necessarily mean that every single person in that committee voted yes or no for that particular establishment.
But there was. But there was, I'm sorry to hold you guys up, but there was a specific committee put together that set up these rules and regulations as far as what we would go forward with, and then to disobey them in a voting process, it shouldn't be made this far.
Okay,
we're gonna
take
that how it voted.
Richard, aren't there guidelines as opposed to?
That's what I'm talking about, those guidelines, the how
Okay, let's answer that.
So just like what was mentioned before, the committee has designated commercial corridors that we designate commercial corridors, right? Within the committee. So we have commercial corridors that we designate, and we would allow for that for 4 a.m. to happen, right? At the committee meeting, if we allow a 4 a.m., that commercial corridor we have designated as that. Now, if anyone thinks differently, please come to the committee meeting, and then we can also have those discussions. But again, the committee, we have designated commercial corridors, and these are what we go over every single meeting, what these commercial corridors will be. So with that being said, being the fact that this establishment and the committee voted to extend a letter of recommendation, that is the decision that we have made based on the decision of the committee as far as the commercial corridor.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion?
So just to confirm, Marcus Garvey is considered a commercial quarter?
The committee has considered that a commercial corridor in regards, yes, that is correct. That is correct. Again, it is, if anybody wants to come, this is something that we discussed inside the committee.
And I was on the committee, and I was part of that discussion, but Marcus Garvey was never considered.
Yes, Marcus Garvey is a part of that.
It was considered a residential commercial district, which means that houses.
No, it is considered in the committee, it was considered a commercial corridor.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, call any question, thank you.
Babatunde Akwe?
No.
Said no? Babatunde, no?
No.
Felicia Alexander? No. Taiwan Anthony? Monique Antoine? No. Dr. Kim Best? No. Anthony Buzera? Michael Catlin?
No.
Ivy Campbell Cobb?
No.
Evelyn Collier? Evelyn?
Yes or no?
Pastor, she said yes. Pastor Gwendolyn Dingle? I need to hear, please. I'm sorry.
No.
All right, can I please have some silence? Thank you. Pastor Dingle, you said no?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Richard Plateau?
Yes.
Keith Forrest?
No.
Dennis George?
Yes.
Gregory Glasgow, excuse me.
No.
Thank you, sir. Sheila Greenfeld?
Yes.
Mary Jameson Head? That's a no or abstain?
No.
No. Mary Jameson Head?
No.
Thank you. Abby Robinson Hobson?
Yes.
Omar Holloway?
No.
Edward Hughes?
No.
Tadeusz Uriarte? Dr. Kerlene Johnson?
No.
Dr. Deborah Lamb?
No.
Marion Little?
Yes.
Marty Joe Long?
No.
Debbie Matthews?
Yes.
Kenneth DeBono?
Yes.
Ellen Miller? Quaker Payton?
No.
Satina Payton? No. Simone Pratt?
No.
Stacy Ruffin? No. Suzette Shepherd?
No.
Jamela Swift?
Yes.
Chinyalu Udo? She left, okay. Omar Walker? Shanita Wells? Doug Williams?
I don't know.
Doug Williams, what did you say?
Yes.
Thank you. TJ Wilson?
No.
That's the last person, okay, while we're tabulating the votes, brief,
All right, so brief, just really quickly. So we had one item, just so everyone knows and has the explanation, we had one item, item D. Keto Week, that item was tabled and will be on the agenda for next week. The reason why, for next month, the reason why that item was tabled, the applicant did not have the documents that the committee required. There would have been a non-recommendation letter extended, just due to the fact that the individual did not have their, did not do what the committee actually did. Quick explanation.
I'm going to just announce the votes for the certificate of appropriateness for LPC application for 281 Jefferson Avenue. Vote was 42 for, 0 against, 0 abstentions. For resolution for LPC certificate of appropriateness for 246 Monroe Street, the vote was 39 for, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. Regarding HPD seeking a letter of support for the 1921 Atlantic Avenue project, the vote was 39 for, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. For vote for letter of support for Marek Rogowski was, the letter of support was 21 for, 13 against, 4 abstentions, motion carries. And the vote for Hungry Tigers request for letter of support was 13 for, 22 against, 2 abstentions. The motion was defeated. I just have a very brief report, I just wanted to, recognize that we have a member who has been serving on the board, who just sent in a letter this morning announcing that he was resigning. This is his last board meeting. So I'd like to publicly thank Mr. Omar Walker for his service to the community board. He served as Vice Chair of Sanitation, Transportation, Infrastructure, and Environment. So we're going to need some help with that. He also served on Landmarks Committee, and his expertise will be sorely missed. Just two other quick things. If you are committee chair or vice chair, co-chair, we need you to email either myself or Mr. Butler if you have a project or event that you would like to have funded over the next 6 months. Due to the city council, we got some supplemental funding. It's only for this year, so if you have any events that you like funded, please send us an email. Last but not least, for those of you who did not know, the executive secretary of the board has a very big day this Friday. She's getting married. Thank you all. Is there a motion for, oh wait, we have to pass the minutes, is there a motion for that? And your vision is right there. Is there a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Is there a motion for adjournment? Meeting is adjourned, thank you.
Everybody late.